Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Friday, at least on the West Coast, almost 10 p.m. It is June 11th, 2021, and again, gonna teach some more Gematria, the same thing I've been teaching for years. A lot of people have learned this knowledge. They don't even need to take my word for it anymore. They just go out and do the same things as me. What I teach is a system that anyone can apply and anyone can benefit from. And again, just another day of torching the sports book because of understanding Gematria. And if you guys watched the video from a couple days ago, you already knew what I thought about tonight's Suns game, that the Suns were going to start 3-0 and get to 9-3 all time against the Nuggets. Got to be 9-3 with the Suns. And just to begin, if you're new here, Gematria goes back to Babylon. Simple practice of coding numbers into words. And when I started, I only taught two ciphers, the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. When you write out nuggets, it's 93, right? Nuggets is 93 when you just use the alphabetic order. When you turn A into 1, B into 2, C into 3, D into 4, up to Z, the 26th letter into 26, just turning letters to numbers. And nuggets is also 30, like how the Suns became 3-0 in large part thanks to Booker, right? Booker's another 30. And you see how Booker's got the 66 in his name? When you run it in reverse, notice how it's also like LeBron, 66-96. You see how Booker, 66-96. LeBron, 66-96. Lakers, 66-96. The other day on June 9th, date that can be written 9/6 like 96. The story about LeBron going back to number 6 and giving his 23 to Devin Booker, who just beat him in the playoffs, who had the big Kobe Bryant tribute. Him and Trae Young combined for 81 points right after Kobe died. But again, that's just running the alphabetic order in reverse where it turns to 96. But the point I'm making, this simple code of letters and numbers. A is 1 up to Z is 26. Z is 1 back to A is 26. When you learn this code, you see how the games are scripted. So today the Suns became 9-3 against the Nuggets in the playoffs all time. They began the series 6-3. And notice when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Suns is 73. Or excuse me, it's not when you run it in reverse. It's with the most simple cipher. But Suns is 73. They won the first game of this series to become 7-3 all time against the Nuggets, and then set up the riddle to get to 3-0, 9-3, which we spotted at the beginning of the series and have taken advantage of. We're on a nice run in the NBA. It's been a minute since we missed a game. And again, for everyone who quit the Patreon when the Lakers didn't win, I just thought, God, man, really? After winning all those things, we missed the Lakers, and then they quit. I'm just like, God, there's a bunch of people that have been winning here that are just some straight-up babies. And I got to be honest and look at the camera when I say it, too. Bitches, man. You got to be a bitch if you quit because the Lakers didn't win. How many did we win? So all those wins, and then you just... And again, what was the Lakers' prediction? Remember who we said they'd play in the Western Conference Finals? The Phoenix Suns, before the season began. And so we expect Suns to be a top team. And then when Westfall died, I was like, man. But I still think it's the Lakers' year. But anyway, the point is, this knowledge pays big dividends. And when we miss, it's like Ray Allen. Ray Allen never really took shots that looked ugly, were way off the mark. If he missed, it still looked pretty. When we miss in Gematria, we're not that far off. And again, we have torched the sports book for several days straight now, basketball and baseball. And I just started doing baseball again. I took some time off from decoding sports because I've been writing books and keeping up with everything and experimenting with, being on the megaphone every day on the corner of the town. And there's only so many hours in a day. And quite frankly, I just gotten bored. It's like, man, if we can't wake up the world with what we've already done with predicting sports, I don't know if it's going to happen. But anyway, I don't know what to do, so I just keep on doing it anyway. But anyway, this knowledge, you guys, with this knowledge, you can see the rituals. And again, Nuggets with the most simple cipher, 93. The Suns become 9-3 versus the Nuggets with a 3-0 series start, again on the back of Booker. And Booker's also 30 where Nuggets is. And again, this is the way you got to look at it. It's like putting the pieces of a puzzle together. But 93 makes so much sense because the Suns, the last time they were in the finals was 93. And in our science books, it says the sun is 93 million miles away. We're always talking about rituals with sun and 93, from news stories to sports. And that's why this made so much sense. Plus, if you look this up, 11-year solar cycle, If you look this up, this is a real thing. The sun has an 11-year solar cycle, and they say its magnetic field flips every 11 years, right? Every 11 it flips. And the last time the Phoenix Suns was in the playoffs was exactly 11 years ago, right? But this year they're even hotter. But just to go over to today's sports games. Here, I also want to show you something before we go over today's sports games. A lot of people are getting confused. Let me put my phone on airplane mode for a second. A lot of people are getting confused because I'm making some of our live streams public that people can watch. And the ones that I choose to make public are ones where there's great examples for the day. And there's also some knowledge where if you take the time to watch it, it's helpful going forward. That's why you can always see who the dummies are in the comments, right? They're like, what's the point of putting this out if it already all happened? It's like, okay, I'm just showing you what we went over an hours before the game or a day before the game or sometime before the game. And if you watch the video, it's not only about today's games, but it tells you some things about some games coming up. So again, you can just see how dummies are. They don't even take the time to watch. They have no critical thinking skills. They start complaining, and then they miss out on the golden nugget that's in the video that they're complaining about. You know, in that same video that they're complaining about, it's talking about why we expect the Suns to start the series 3-0. And here they are. You know what I mean? So, with regards to baseball, another beautiful day in baseball, and we've been having a lot of fun with baseball since we got back to it. But here, let's just go over today's baseball games. Well, hold on. I didn't do it yet. Here's what I got to show you guys. This is where the confusion is. So I'm going to on my end. You cannot see this. Manage videos. These are my uploads tab. These are my live stream tabs, right? Unlisted means that you cannot see this on the YouTube end. For example, when I go to my own YouTube channel and I click videos, I can see the live stream I'm doing right now. I can see the live stream that I made public yesterday at the end of the day, the live stream that was from early in the morning. Put it out so people can watch it, how we decode sports. You know, you can see all these videos, but look, you cannot see today's live stream because it is only seen on my Patreon page. And the link to the Patreon, again, people who stick with me will tell you that I am the best value in the world of sports. I only charge $5 a month, and we give out the top content. I mean, and again, I can back that up. Show me anyone in the world who's done better in the world of futures since I started making predictions in 2014. It's never going to happen, man. We have dominated sports, unprecedented, not only calling the right teams, but numbers that are so specific to the outcomes. Again, you guys, the only people doubting this at this point are really dumb people, which there are a lot of, and also the agents who just like sit around and troll the community all day and they're the first to comment and harass people. And again, that's been going on for years because we're doing things that are unprecedented. But anyway, you see how this video is unlisted? Okay, if I go to this video right now, if I click on this video from today, it went 3 hours and 10 minutes. And remember, when you're watching longer videos, you guys, if you're on your computer, go to settings and go to playback speed and do 1.5. And that probably won't be too fast for you, but you'll get a lot faster through the video and be able to hear it all. If that's too fast, go to 1.25. You'll still save time. And if you got like a supercomputer mind, you can try 1.75, but that gets too fast for me. But anyway, you can stream. You see how it says streamed live 10 hours ago? If I make this video public, for the people who are not on Patreon, the way it will appear to the free people on YouTube is it'll appear that the stream just ended. And like they just logged online, but they just missed the stream. It's going to make the post time for them 1 minute ago. So watch, I'll just show you how this works. Because every time we do this, people start complaining. They're like, what? You just did this. You're just pretending. It's like, no. Can't you guys see that in the video it's daytime? The video is nighttime. It's just like, come on, man. But look, here's how it works. I'm going to make this video public. You can watch today's stream. You can see what we did for the games, and you can see how the outcomes are. The outcomes are very good again. And again, you guys, it's not magic, it's not psychic. It's learning the system of how the news and the sports are all rigged and who's controlling the show, which I've written 2 books about. So you can keep denying it all you want, and you can cry, you know, because the Lakers didn't win the championship this year. Realize the LeBron thing to get to 6-6, though, is still very possible. So that's a theme to follow. He's obviously not going to three-peat, but man, like we said, His road to the finals was through the Phoenix Suns, and there was a very specific reason why. Phoenix Suns, the only true team with the 56 connection. Finals start on a 56 date. I thought LeBron was going to get to 5 and 6 because everywhere 56 is. Helped us win the Masters with Matsuyama born on the 56th day of the year. But anyway, make this video public. It's now public. And if you go back to my YouTube channel, watch. If we go back to the YouTube channel, now on the public, you'll be able to see the video. So if I go to videos now, see, now that video's there. From my end, it says streamed 7 hours ago, but I know a lot of people, when they click on theirs, it makes it look like it streamed a minute ago. So but yeah, that's the way it works. So that's how it looks new on your end, but I mean, it's been up all day, really, if you're on the Patreon. So, just to review what we looked at today, and if you can watch that video and verify, watch the video for what we said about the Dodgers and Rangers game. The Dodgers were huge favorites today, but understand the ritual. Again, it has to do with George Herbert Walker Bush, number 41. You know how we're always teaching about Skull and Bones and the Bush family? And the Texas Rangers who used to run, and the Bush family, how they used to run the Rangers. If you don't know this, the Bushes, who were presidents, they're big baseball guys. They were on the field when the Astros won the World Series over the Dodgers in 2017. But number 41, the father, the first one to be president, he was a member of Skull and Bones like his son, and that's at Yale. And notice how Skull and Bones is 41 in the most pure cipher. His father was number 41. He died on November 30th, 11 plus 30, 41. 5 years earlier to that day, the actor Paul Walker died in a red Porsche. George Herbert Walker, Paul Walker, George Walker Bush. If you don't know, Paul Walker, the movie star, he died in this weird accident in a red Porsche, November 30th, 2013. It was suspicious. And then 5 years later, Bush would die on that day. But Paul Walker was in the movie The Skulls about Skull and Bones, right? About Skull and Bones. 11 plus 30, 41. Notice it's at Yale, and Yale is 43, right? Yale is 43. The 41st president was also the 43rd vice president to Reagan. He was the CIA director as well. But his son became the 43rd president in an election that came down to Florida, where his brother Jeb was the 43rd governor at the time. And you know how Brady went down to Florida this year at age 43? Florida is 43 when you run the alphabetical order and reverse the rules of numerology, right? Florida, 43. When you write out football, it's 43. And what makes that super interesting, is American football is credited to Walter Camp, who went to Yale and was likely a member of Skull and Bones. But Yale 43, football 43, Florida 43, Bush in Florida the day of 9/11 where he won the election. You know, Skull and Bones, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their logo is a skull with crossed swords, similar to Skull and Bones logo. But, you know, Bush, 9/11, the Patriot Act, the emergence of the New England Patriots after the Jet, Mo Lewis, Rex, number 11, Drew Brees, starting Tom Brady's career, where he beats Peyton Manning right at the beginning. But anyway, this year before Brady won the Super Bowl, and again, we called Bucks over Chiefs before the season began because of Gematria. And so many specific numbers. If you guys did not watch my live broadcast of the Super Bowl, calling it before it happened, I mean, watch that. I mean, how can you disprove that? I mean, we murdered that game. We knew that script so well before it even played out. But anyway, you learn this knowledge, you will see how rigged these games are. You will understand the rituals. And the trick can be, if you understand the number that it's centered around, there could be 3 or 4 teams that have the connection to that number. You got to do that extra homework to make sure you pick the right team. And I got to admit, I was lazy this year. I was confident about my finals pick. I thought LeBron was doing what I thought, the path he was taking. And I didn't watch any games, and I didn't think it was good. I didn't think it was going to fail until it did. So had to go back to the drawing board, and you know, we really dialed in since the Lakers got eliminated. You know, it ignited a little bit of fire. So anyway, These games, totally scripted. When you know this code, you see what's up. So anyway, the thing about the Dodgers and the Rangers game is the Rangers are expected to lose tonight, and they're on their way to picking up their 40th loss tonight, right? They're on their way to picking up the 40th loss. Tomorrow, the Rangers could pick up their 41st loss, right? And tomorrow is 41's birthday. He's dead now, but George H.W. Bush birthday. He's born on June 12th, right? Date that can be written 12/6, like 126, big number with the Jesuits. Kobe dead on 126. Bryant 26, dead on the 37-year anniversary of Bear Bryant. Bryant's 37 anniversary. Bear Bryant died in 83, football 83. Tom Brady, Mr. Football, born on 8/3. But anyway, tomorrow, Saturday, is 41's birthday, right? And it seems like every season they pay tribute to Skull and Bones and the numbers of Skull and Bones in the Rangers. It looks like this year what they're doing is having the 41st loss of the Rangers season fall on his birthday. You see? This is the stuff they do season after season, paying tribute. And if you think this is dumb, in 2019, the 115th World Series, following the Skull and Bones rituals they did in a Rangers and Astros game and a game with the Nationals and Indians, which allowed us to call really nice, sets of games because we understood those series so well. When they both happened, it also made us realize, whoa, they did that in the AL and the NL. Look at what happens if Game 7, the Nationals beat the Astros in the World Series. Look at how that would line up, and that's exactly what ended up happening. And again, there were people who made a ton of money off that. Again, the knowledge isn't really about making money because this money is just, we live in a fiat currency money system where they print out money and they use it to control us. But of course, if you have more of it, you can do more things in this world. But still, again, the real motivation of getting this knowledge out there is for people to wake up to the fact that we are proving every day systematically that the games are rigged. The games are rigged. The outcomes are numerical in nature. It's a script. And with regards to the Cubs today, Cubs game was interesting. They picked up their 36th win today, the Cubs, in their 63rd game of the season. They picked it up on a Friday, right? The gematria of the days of the week, some days are more relevant than others. But notice the numbers of Friday, 63, 36, 36, right? In the base cipher, 63, 36, 36. And Cubs, also has that 63 in the name. And remember, the Cubs, the 63 is important because Major League is 63. Major League Baseball is also 63, a number that in numerology is 9. And baseball is a game of 9 innings. And if you know baseball, you see the 162 up there with just the alphabetic order. That's how many games there are in a season. If you just run the alphabetic order in reverse, the word baseball alone is 162, like the number of games in a season. And you can see in 2 out of the 4 base ciphers, it's 54, like how many outs there are in a game. But okay. The Cubs, they picked up their 36th win today in their 63rd game. And the Cardinals, they picked up their 31st loss on the 11th. 31 is the 11th prime number. The Giants and the Nationals, this game, my hunch was incorrect. DeSclafani was the starting pitcher, and Scherzer was the opposing pitcher, but Scherzer got hurt at the beginning of the game. But what was interesting about this game, and I had a warning about this game because it was supposed to be yesterday. I said I liked it more yesterday. Now I have a worry about Scherzer today. And I brought up the 115th World Series, which is Team 1. But here was the thing yesterday before this game got rained out where the threat hadn't been posed yet. Yesterday, it was DeSclafani versus Scherzer, and DeSclafani came in with 42 wins and 41 losses. And Scherzer's next career win was his 181st, which is the 42nd prime number. So you have to go, what are the odds that DeSclafani can become 42 and 42 for his career, and Scherzer can get his 181st win, the 42nd prime? Riddles like that, they'll come through 2 out of 3 times. But what worried me about the game getting moved today is it set up the possibility that Scherzer could become 5-5 for the season on the 11th of the month. Because prime numbers are important. 11 is the 5th prime, so he could become 5-5 on the 11th. So that threat was mentioned. But had this game been played yesterday, that's the one question I still have about baseball. I'm like, man, when these games sometimes they move the game to a much different date, and then sometimes you're like, look at that, they moved it to a date with the same numerology, so it looks like they're preserving the ritual. But when they get bumped today, I always have a funny feeling about these games. It's almost like what you expect is the opposite when it's interesting because some people think it's all the organic matrix. So it's like, I guess in a way, maybe you could make the argument that the organic matrix, now that it's on that day, now you got to worry about that number, and that number comes back to haunt. Anyway, the Marlins and Braves game was a null game to me. And the reason why is the Marlins starting pitcher, Alcantara, he had a chance to pick up his 15th career win today against Atlanta. And you see how Atlanta's 15 in the most pure cipher? Again, the alphabetic order, the rules numerology is considered the most pure. Today, Embiid in the NBA became 15-15 for his career in the playoffs, and he became 6-9 away. And just to remind you, the two original ciphers that we've taught, the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules numerology. This is kindergarten stuff. Again, numerology is just A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, just like the other way, but where it changes when you get to J, the 10th letter. And that's because the numerology of 10 is 1 plus 0 is 1. So J is 1, the 10th letter becomes 1. Numerology is about making numbers that are greater than a single digit, about breaking them down to a single digit. So K, the 11th letter, 11 is 1 plus 1 is 2, so K is 2. L, the 12th letter, is 1 plus 2 is 3, so L is 3. M, the 13th letter, 1 plus 3 is 4, so M is 4. You just do that all the way up to Z, and just notice a single letter, Z, the 26th letter, 2 plus 6 is 8, that's why Z is 8 in reduction. And notice X, XXX, X is the 24th letter, 2 plus 4 is 6. So XXX is 666, right? It's normally associated with something like pornography, which in terms of, biblical knowledge, sexual perversion, which is actually not good for you. And I think we can all agree, all things good and bad, like at this point in society, which is like, it's just rampant right now, right? It's just like, back in the day, if you wanted to get like, if you want to look at a beautiful woman, naked, you had to go to the store and get like a magazine, right? You had to go through that experience. Now it's just like everybody has free access to just like streaming porn everywhere. It's just like the world is saturated in porn. It's like somebody wants the world saturated in porn. Like so often when you read intellectual art, stories about the internet, they'll just stick in a joke about what percentage of the internet's traffic is porn traffic. And you just start to think like our window, like in the whole bandwidth of like everyone watching the internet and just like the different stuff they're into, video games, porn, news, sports, just whatever. The people looking for like new information and knowledge is so small. It's so tiny. It's ridiculous. And that's when you start to realize all these other things that entertain and occupy people. I mean, there's a reason the powers that be want those things out there. They want people distracted with entertainment so they don't really see what's going on in the world they live in. And they don't want them to see because if they saw, then they probably wouldn't participate. And the rulers, their power and control would break down. And again, that's the point of me doing this work. But here, let's go through these games. Now, the Rays and the Orioles. I like the Rays today because Yarbrough could get to 4-3. And as I always explain, you guys, the lessons don't change. Tampa Bay Rays, 43 in the most pure cipher. This team loves 43. 43s, it could be from the opposing team or the current team when they can get picked up when the Rays are playing. Sometimes it's a great upset. I mean, we've made some money off the Orioles as major underdogs against the Rays in a 43 ritual in the past. But the Rays love the number 43. So Yarbrough, the Rays pitcher today with the win, gets to 4-3. Nice ritual. The White Sox today. We like the White Sox. The line, sometimes they put something in the line that is so important. For example, the White Sox today, you had to bet 157 to win 100, but that felt like a bet of confidence, like $100 interest on your 1 hour $157 investment, because you just feel like this is the stock that's rising tomorrow, right? So the White Sox looked great today with that line because 157 is the 37th prime number. And again, in the most pure ciphers, Chicago's 37, so is Detroit. And what we saw when we looked at the game today is the Tigers could pick up their 37th loss, which they did. And shoot, let me see. Sometimes, who started this game? The starting pitcher. It was Skubal. Skubal today. It does not look like Skubal got credited with the loss, but this is what I always teach people. If a starting pitcher has a great riddle to pick up a stat, the number you're looking at, like, for example, 37, which Skubal had his chance to pick up his 37th career loss today, so it seemed like more emphasis on 37. And again, if his team is losing, that means the White Sox are winning because Skubal's with Detroit. So this is how we do it every day, you guys. And what I do is I charge people $5 a month, and I thank them for coming and taking the time to study and make a small investment in knowledge that can build a fortune, as it has for many people. And there are periods where things go cold. And I think a lot of the times it's probably, like I'm just not... Sometimes things really are tricky. Some games are trickier than others, but... the point is that there are periods where we go cold for a week, but we always end, and when we go cold, it's not like we're way off. It's like we're right around 50-50. Maybe we're just barely below 50-50. We're off the mark. But then when we get hot, it's like, boom. Whatever we were down last week, we're already way back up. And wow, we just hit again today. We're way, way up. Oh, man, we just hit again like yesterday and the last 2 days. Whoa, we are just way up. So anyway, the White Sox had all this 37 stuff. And where do you get these? If you want to know where to look up these stats, you just got to know the sites. Remember this. If you write out baseball reference, you get a great website for baseball stats. If you write out basketball reference, you get a great site for NBA sites. If you write college basketball reference, great site for college stats. Same thing for football, college football. This site has what you're looking for. But, just type in a guy like Skubal. Nobody has that name. But, it wasn't that he could get his 37th career loss today. It was that he could fall to 3-7 for the season. That's what it was. Skubal could fall to 3-7 for the season. 3-7 like 37. So when we saw that, we're like, man, there's another 37. That line's 157. And remember, this stuff's twisted, you guys. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, remember, Kobe Bryant in the most Pierce ciphers, 41, dead at age 41. Kobe Bryant, 157. When you run it in reverse, he died on his 157th day of his age. And that's the 37th prime number. And remember, Bryant's 37 in reverse. Died on the 37-year anniversary of Bear Bryant on January 26th. So, where did our games go? Okay, so that's why we like the White Sox today. And the White Sox gave up their lead late and made it exciting. And the Reds like the Reds a lot today. You see how Molly got to 6-2? Molly, the pitcher for the Reds, got to 6-2 today. We like that. We saw that if the Rockies lose 2 in this series, they'll get their 26th away loss. And if they were only to win 1 in the series, they would have 26 wins. 26-62, that matters because they're playing the Reds. And Reds is 26-62. The other thing that was great about this game is the Reds starting pitcher, if he got the win today, he was going to get his 19th career win. So I said, you see how all those Reds numbers can play in today's game? I said, that is a good indicator for the Reds. They look solid. They smoked the Rockies 11-5 on the 11th. 11, the 5th prime. And the other thing we liked about the Reds is they were coming in on 31 losses. They stayed on those 31 losses on the 11th. 31's the 11th prime, scoring 11 runs. Exactly what we talked about in the game. And that's why that's why the people in my community, they don't care when I get cold. The real people in this community, because they've been here the whole time. They know that we always come back. And they know even when we miss the games, the numbers and the patterns, they're just so evident. That's what's frustrating. Like, a couple weeks ago, there was a game that the Blazers and the Nuggets series was following. The Blazers-Nuggets series did a 19 ritual in every single game. It was amazing. And there was one night, though, where it looked like the Blazers were going to pick up the 19, so Blazers looked good that night. Well, they didn't win, but they lost by 19 points. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. The other game had the 19s on it, too, and it did come through, but then the Blazers missed their 19s, but instead they lose by 19. That's how it always is with this knowledge. When you lose, you're like, why didn't they pick up the number? Why did they make, oh, I see what they did with the score. But anyway, you have the knowledge, you see the ritual. And moving along, the Mets and the Padres, this game was iffy based on a couple of things. Snell did get the loss tonight, and Snell got his 33rd loss, and New York is 33. So that stood out. I was not crazy about this game right here. Snell, or didn't mean to type in Snell, but if you go to this baseball reference and put in Snell's name, Snell, you can see his stats, and it has not plugged in his stats yet tonight. By tomorrow, this will be updated. He got his 33rd career loss. He came in with the 32 losses. He picked up the L tonight. New York has that 33 connection, so that was a concern. But you see how New York's 39 in the most pure cipher? Just like every year at the Belmont Stakes, they do the 39 ritual. Belmont Stakes 39 like New York. This year, 9th race, post 3, first place. And again, we were all over that in this community. We're always all over the 39s in New York. They don't come through every time, but they come through the vast majority of the time. If you follow me, you know I hate teams like the Padres and the Mariners. But if the Padres do end up winning 2 out of 3 in this series, they will get to 39 wins in New York. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the only 2 games left are Saturday and Sunday. So that means the Padres would have to win out the series to hit the 39. Padres are a goofy team. A safe way to play it with a team like the Padres, who seem to not follow. There's certain teams that just pound their rituals, and there's certain teams you'll identify. Like a funny one in the NFL, the Lions are always such a weird team. The Lions feel like they're some kind of wild card game in so many weeks. It's like, I've seen the craziest things happen with Lions games. But you start to realize by decoding, you're like, there's certain teams to really not mess with. Don't let that team be the one that blows up your parlay for the night. Padres are one of these goofy teams, but Snell did pick up his 33rd loss in New York, which does make sense. Now the thing to watch for is, do the Padres win Saturday and Sunday to become the latest 39 New York ritual? And you might want to double check to make sure it's not a 4-game series and they play on Monday too, but it's likely a 3-game series. The Indians and the Mariners. The Indians pitcher came in 8-2 today. Seattle's 82. You'll see so many pitchers do that. They'll hit this record, and then they have that starting record to play that team. Another thing we've talked about over the years. But, I mean, that's a great record as a pitcher in baseball. 8-2, but he was 8-2 to face the Mariners today. Picks up his 9th win on the 11th. And I suppose that's a little Indians joke because Indians is 119. He gets the 9th win on the 11th. Over the Mariners. Oh, my God, man. See, you guys, it's a thinking man's game, and now I get the sick joke. Man, it's brutal. Do you guys know that Seattle's named after Chief Seattle? If you didn't, look it up. He's named after the Native American Chief Seattle. So I get it. The Indians pitcher. Okay, that's a good one, man. You see how they won 7-0 too? Indians is 70 in the most simple cipher, and on the 11th, the starting pitcher gets the 9th win. That's why it's just like you got to understand the riddle. And you know what else is great about that? Oh, I get it, man. It's so good now. Damn. The singular Indian is 33 in the most pure cipher, right? Just like Cleveland. We know all about Cleveland in 33, you know. It was the 33rd time ever. In NBA playoff history, a team was down 3-1, and the Cavs became the first to come back and win it on the real King James's birthday, right? But yeah. Also, I lived in Seattle for a lot of my life, so I know this. But Seattle's original name was Alki, and then they changed it to Chief Seattle, named after the Indian or Native American, right? Wow. They go nuts with the history, man. That's what we got to do, Truth Community. We got to get better on like our Native American history and our tribe history. Because Kayla Decoder down in New Mexico, if you guys don't follow Kayla, Kayla space Decode space Talker, you know, she's a young, brilliant, beautiful woman who's just been murdering the world of sports, and she focuses more on the women's game because that's what she follows. She's decoding it there, but she's made so many observations about the rituals in sports with past Native American, massacres and battles. And it's just like, this stuff that they do to us, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Oh, man. I got to go back and look at Savel's career stats. I missed the whole Chiefs-Seattle joke. I totally saw that how they could get the 33rd win to launch the series in Cleveland, but man, now it's just like, come on, Zach. I should have thought about the Indian joke. And one day before the last time we were really focused on this, it was with the whole Nationals ritual. Here's what the Nationals did, you guys. On September 27th, 2019, a date with 48 numerology. You see how Cleveland's 48? You can go back and check that all this is true. I guarantee you it's 1,000% true. It's how we called Nationals to beat Astros in Game 7. Cleveland is 48. The Nationals picked up their 48th win on a 48-date numerology over the Indians. And then the next day had 49-date numerology, and they picked up their 49th win. And then the next day had 50-date numerology, and they picked it up. And then they got into the playoffs. The Nationals with their late burst, because they had a pretty bad season, but they got hot at the end, and they rode it through the World Series, and they beat the Astros. And we won twice on that World Series because, remember, the Nationals came out and took the first two games, and the whole media said, oh, it's over, Astros are done, you can't lose your first two games. But then the Astros won 3 straight, and then the odds went up huge again for the Nationals to come back and win. We said, we got to ride this through, man. Nationals are giving the Astros their 57th postseason loss. Because look at this, you guys. World Series is 57, Nationals is 57. Always a big number in the World Series. When the Astros lost in Game 7, they got their 57th postseason loss all time. You see the 138? It was 138 days after Donald Trump's birthday. See how Nationals is 138? So was Donald Trump. So was Federal. So was Dave Martinez, the manager of the Nationals. Nationals, they hadn't been in the World Series since 33. And God, there was a 105 as well. I think they became 10-5 in the postseason. I think that's what they did by winning the World Series, became 10-5. It was something like that. So all those numbers were part of the ritual when they won in Game 7. Okay, but man. Oh, I forgot to look up Savell. What was his career stats at? He went to Northeastern University in Boston. Oh my God, his birthday is on George Herbert Walker Bush's birthday, man. Come on. But, oh yeah, that was the thing too. When they did that to the Indians, the Nationals, it started with the 48th win. That was Dave Martinez's 322nd career game, 322, the number that Skull and Bones identifies by. And he was on 149 career losses, and he stayed on that as they won those 3 games. Skull and Bones won 49. 202, remember 322 in the mornings, the 202nd minute of the day. The King Super shooting on March 22nd, 322. They said the last body was identified at 2:02 in the morning, and the Skull and Bones 149, King Supers 149. Again, it's more than just sports. But now I really see the joke. They got the dude pitching who's from Connecticut. Ah, man, that's where Yale and Skull and Bones is. You guys, this stuff they do, man, it's just like, even though I've just been decoding it for all this time and like I'm half bored of it, I still like every day I'm just like, yeah, this game should have been Freebie City. We did fine today. I mean, it was a great day, but I'm just realizing, look how his name is even 70, like Indians. And 47. 47 and 70. Again, on the 11th, he gets his 9th win of the season. Come on, man. His name's 47 and 70. These dudes are straight up Manchurians. This guy might have come out of like some test tube at Yale Skull and Bones. Come on, man. Isn't it funny to think that we're like at this age where they could like, yeah, let's engineer this baby's shoulder and arms. His arms are going to be long as hell. If you never played baseball, man, tall, lanky kids, man, they are the nastiest pitchers when you're young. You know that age where you play where it's like you're age 9 and the oldest guys in the group are about age 12? I still remember the way my little career started when I was a 9-year-old. When I was a freshman, there was a dude 3 years ahead of me, Danny. Tall, skinny kid. He was either 2 or 3 years ahead of me. I'm trying to remember now for sure. I'm pretty sure he was 3 years ahead of me. When I was a freshman, he was a senior. But just tall and skinny, and I mean real tall. By the time he was 12, he was probably close to 6 feet tall, maybe even taller than that. He was big. He ended up being like 6'6". But I was 9, and when I was 9, I hadn't hit my growth spurt. I was a good little athlete at age 9, but man, this kid was like a giant compared to me. And the first time I had to bat was against this Danny Aldrin. It's funny, it's just scarred in my mind. But I was up there, and his first pitch was, watching it come off, because he's even bigger than my dad. Like I was used to my dad throwing the ball at me and hitting off him, but this guy's taller and longer than my dad. So it seems like when he throws the ball, he's already so close to you, the little league distance. But, man, he threw the ball real hard, but then his next pitch, it hit me off the helmet, right? And I remember everyone was like, ooh, because I probably just looked like, the giant pegged the little kid right in the head. But I took it like a champ, and, you go down to your base. Well, the next time I got up there, I knew that, like, how fast he threw, like, was too much. Like, it was overwhelming, but the next time I got up there, just all fundamentals like my dad taught me, I smacked the ball, right into right field in the gap, and a stand-up double as this little kid throwing against, and their team killed us, but my daddy trained me to be a little baseball player. But anyway, I'm reminiscing, man. Tall, lanky kids. Oh my God, that's the stuff to have, and that's what I'm saying. You could engineer. Look how many of these guys. There's just so many big guys in the world of sports. There's not that many big guys in the world, but in the world of sports, man, there's just And it makes sense, but again, I'm saying, are they engineering people? We got the dude born on George Herbert Walker Bush's birthday, and in Connecticut, and just this ritual with the Indians, between the Indians and the Mariners. It's just, okay. Coming back. The Blue Jays and the Red Sox. The Red Sox about gave me a heart attack tonight because I like the Red Sox a lot. They came back and won, and what I liked about this game is the Blue Jays starting pitcher, he did not get the loss, but you see this so often in decoding. Again, if the pitcher has a riddle to lose or win, so often, even if they don't get the decision, the game goes that way. So Stripling was the starting pitcher for the Blue Jays, and Stripling could have picked up his 31st career loss today. And notice, Red Sox is 31 in the most pure cipher. Red Sox is 31. And he could have picked up his 31st loss on the 11th. And again, 31 is the 11th prime. So Ross Stripling at age 31. Interesting enough, today was 200 days after his birthday, or his 201st day of his age. But he came in today with 30 career losses. So this has not been updated. He will get credited with his 31st career. Or no, I take it back. He didn't get the decision, but still it was just that Red Sox is 31. Perfect day to pick up the 31st loss. More often than not, when you see that, the game goes that way. And the 5-6 score is funny because, again, it's his 201st day of his age. If you've read my book, again, if you guys don't know about my book, I do have a book out there. Just search Zachary K. Hubbard or search Number Games. And this book, I get into sports and everything in here. Lots of information right here. This is my second book. But I talk about the relationship with 56 and 201. And again, this happened on the pitcher's 201st day of his age as well, where he had the top clue for the outcome. And let's see, moving on down the line. The Astros, I like the Astros today because their starting pitcher had a riddle to win. He did not get credited with the win, but again, the Astros pitcher had a nice riddle to win today. He could have become 8-5. It was Urquidy. Urquidy had a nice game. 7 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. I mean, that's what you want from your starter. But his riddle today was to become 8-5, and Twins is 85, who they were playing. So, to me, that was a good sign. He did not get credited with the win, so he stays on 7-5. But again, that's what I'm saying. So often, if a starting pitcher has the clue, and very often one of the two, what's the best is when on both sides it lines up. Like one guy has the perfect record to get the win, and the other has the perfect to get the loss. There was one like that yesterday, which was Money in the Bank. And let's see. The Brewers and the Pirates. Again, the Brewers were one of these teams that could pick up the 36th win today on a Friday, and that sets them up to pick up their 37th win at home. And Friday is, again, 36 forwards and backwards, and Milwaukee's 37. Also, what we saw in this game is the pitcher on the mound for Milwaukee was number 53 today, and 53 is the 16th prime, and the starting pitcher for the Pirates could fall to 1-6 today. So that was another encouraging sign that we liked about that game. Pirates and the Brewers. And Brewers are big favorites, so it wasn't that exciting of a game. The A's and the Royals, again, I said the Royals are interesting, but I feel greedy because they had sort of a look yesterday to upset, but the Royals are hard to count on. But we stayed away from this game. But the one thing that made the Royals halfway tempting is had they won, they would have been 31-31 on the 11th. But you always got to fill it out. There's a game where it makes sense, like number-wise, but you're like, yeah, the Royals taking 2 on the road against the Athletics. I mean, that'd be pretty impressive because, again, it's just you got to weigh. You don't want to follow the mainstream narrative at all because it's there to mislead you and confuse you. But sometimes you got to use, like, the law of reason. It's like, yeah, that kind of stuff doesn't happen that often. So if I'm wagering much on this, I'm making it like a $5 parlay to bet tonight. Maybe I already got a 5-team parlay where I'm betting 5 and it pays $70 if it hits. But if I put this Royals game on there, man, it pays like $180. Maybe I'll bet an extra $5 to try and hit that $180 because I know if I miss, I got 36 more tries like that to regain that money back. And with this knowledge, you do that a lot more times over. Again, that's the beauty of this knowledge. You can make small bets on teams that are a risk that have a chance with a high wager opportunity. That's how people kill it in this community. But yeah, it's just, you guys, this stuff, man, it's so ritualistic. And that's right, too. Kershaw became 8-5 tonight. And I talked about this as well. So Kershaw became 8-5 tonight. And I talked about this in light of the ritual with Skull and Bones. Because if you study Skull and Bones, what you'll learn is they get their symbolism from the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar. And notice in the most simple cipher, Templar is 85. When we invaded Afghanistan after 9/11, we invaded on the day leaving 85 days left in the year, the same part of the world where the Crusades took place, the Knights Templar. And again, all roads lead to Rome. The Jesuits have the Templar cross in their logo. But Templar is also 31, the 11th prime, right? And here we are on the 11th. But today, Kershaw becomes 8-5 on the eve before George H.W. Bush's birthday, the man associated with the Rangers franchise history. And again, then we're seeing the ritual in the Seattle and Indians game, and the pitcher has the same birthday. Tomorrow is George H.W. Bush. Because again, if you don't know the legend, George H.W. Bush's father, Prescott Bush, the story is that he stole Geronimo's skull from a museum for the Skull and Bones collection. And by the way, that was the other thing. When the Nationals did that to the Indians when they got their 48th win on the 48 date numerology when Cleveland's 48, it was 223 days from the anniversary of the death of Geronimo. And I'm not go back and look it up. We showed it all in real time. We broke it down in a Patreon stream that day. There was a moment where we broke it down in real time. We're like, oh my God. I remember the show. I was like, I got to check this out. I just got to measure from Geronimo to the date of the game. Here, let's just do it. Geronimo. And look all this stuff up about Prescott Bush and Skull and Bones and the rumor of the stolen skull. I mean, you can see that they're paying tribute in the sports league, so it must be. But Geronimo died February 17th. February 17th, and from that anniversary in 2019 to September 27, 2019, which was the day that they picked up the 48th win over Cleveland, it was 222 days later, or, if you count the span of days, a span of 223. And that's the 48th prime number. Again, Cleveland's 48. And the Nationals picked up their 48th win over the Indians. Again, I'm just reminding. And again, that's where the manager stayed on the 149 losses in his 322nd game when Skull and Bones' number is 322. Again, look up John Kerry. Here, you know what? For all the people who've never seen this before, let's just do it right now. YouTube, or hold on. George Bush, John Kerry, Skull and Bones, 322, Tim Russert. Let's see. We just want the short clip. Tim Russert. When Tim Russert died, look up when Tim Russert died. They reported that the paramedics got to him at 2:23. But watch this right here. This is the clip. He has Bush and Kerry in 2004, and they're running against each other about 3-2-2, and then both beating Skull and Bones. Here we go.
You were both in Skull and Bones, The Secret Society.
Hold on, there's something to...
Tough one, but why not both?
It's the ESPN page was making all that noise. Let's try that again.
You were both in Skull and Bones, The Secret Society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go
Oh, sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322.
First of all, he's not the nominee. And, look, I look
Are
forward...
you prepared to lose?
No, I'm not going to lose.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us?
Not much, because it's a secret.
Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code?
I wish there were something secret I could manifest.
322, a secret number?
There are all kinds of secrets, Tim, but one thing is not a secret. I disagree with this president's direction that he's taking the country. We can do a better job, and I intend to do it.
And we'll be watching. Be safe on the campaign trail. John Kerry, thanks for joining us.
Okay, so again, just 322, Skull and Bones. Again, look it up. Dave Martinez, 322nd career game. He stayed on 149 losses, all synced up with Geronimo. It's just, you just see, I mean, this is what it is. And the reason I was able to clue into these things is because, again, this has all been in the mainstream. They let us know that the Bush family are associated with Skull and Bones, that they're big with baseball and the Rangers. I mean, all this stuff's out in the mainstream. You just got to be paying attention. And, so, with regards to the NBA today, again, like we started... Oh, these ads want to play. The NBA today, again, I was big on the Suns. I just love the 9-3 ritual. I was apprehensive on the 76ers Hawks. And that's because Joel Embiid had the perfect ritual. But the problem with today's game was that either team could become 6-2 in the playoffs. And what made me nervous about that is the fact that the Hawks... What made me nervous about that is the fact that the Hawks or Philly could become 6-2. But here's what had happened in the playoffs so far. The Hawks, in their first game against the Knicks, it was 293 days after Nate McMillan's birthday, which is the 62nd prime number. And the Knicks got their 62nd loss at home in the playoffs all-time, Game 1 to the Hawks. And then the Hawks ended up closing out the series on June 2nd, 6-2, the same day that Philadelphia closed out their series against Washington. Both series were 4-1. And then Philadelphia had 61 points at halftime again today. Philadelphia 61. Philadelphia, they came into the series against Atlanta 6-1, and they lost game 1, with Atlanta shooting 74% in the first quarter. Or in the first half, I mean. First half, 74%. But Philadelphia came in 6-1, and they lost that first game, so they fell to 6-2 against the Hawks, right? So it's like, man, today it can play either way, but the Hawks have been loving that 62 number. But I kept saying about Embiid is the first two games were clearly scripted through him, the win and the loss. In the first game, game 1 of Hawks and 76ers, it was 82 days after Embiid's birthday. These teams had not met in the playoffs since 1982. And remember, there's something to 82. The word game is 82, right? Normally, basketball has an 82-game season. Pro basketball is 82. Pro basketball is 82. Jordan's got 82 birth numerology. Bryant's got the 82 in his name, Gematria, right? So there's something to this. But they hadn't met since 82. Game 1 was 82 days after Joel Embiid's birthday. And he scored 39 points. 82 was 39 years ago, right? And then the next game was 84 days after his birthday, and Joel Embiid, in the most simple cipher, is 84, and he had 40 points in that game. And remember, when you write out 40, it's 84, and 40 doesn't make sense in English. This is why when I learned Gematria, I was like, God, this explains everything. I've been talking about 40 and 84 for all these years. If you read the most awkward moment, in my opinion, in my second book, the most awkward moment, and you might not even think it's that bad. To me, it's where I just tried to tuck in the 40-84 point in the first chapter because it really doesn't fit in, but I was like, I just got to get this in there somewhere, and I don't know where to put it. So I just stuck it in there. And when I read it, I'm just like, oh, I can tell I just stuck it in there. It's just so out of place. But anyway, When you write out 40, it's 84, right? Now look at this. When you write out US, it's 40, right? And when you write out United States, it's 40. And when you write out United States of America, it's 84. And again, when you write out 40, it's 84. And 40 doesn't make any sense because there's no U in it. We put a U in the number 4. We put a U in 14. We put a U in 400. So where's the U in 40? I'm telling you, it's something about these rituals. So, and Embiid scored 40 points in that game, 84 days after his birthday. And they said that was the Philly playoff record. But tonight, again, he became 15-15 in the playoffs all time and 6-9 away. And again, in your most simple ciphers, Atlanta 69, like 6-9 away, 15-15 in the playoffs. And I was saying, I was like, game 1 was so structured with him, game 2 so structured with him. Loved him in game 2. And game 1 I was iffy on. Yeah, today I was iffy on. But game 2 I loved because that was the one where it was like, I don't have to doubt the 62. I just know that 62, man, it's playing for him. My whole problem with this 76ers Hawks series is even though I understand the games are rigged and not to pay attention to the narrative and just really look at the numbers, just looking at this series just bothers me so much because you can just see how fake the NBA is watching this. In real life, you could run 1,000 simulations of a 76ers Hawks game based on the size and talent of the players on each team. Not in one of those 1,000 simulations would the Hawks ever win. Not one. Not one. And if you think otherwise, I'm telling you, you are wrong. The Hawks are small. It would never happen. The talent level, it's just a joke. The game the Hawks won, here's why you got to be a dummy to watch the NBA and not see how bullshit it is. Game 1, I watched the first half of game 1 with Sweet Lady. Sweet Lady actually likes to watch basketball. It's interesting. But game 1, Philly was just pushing the ball so fast up the court, all these like half court, length of the court, 3/4 court passes, and kept turning it over. And I'm going, why is Philly trying to push the ball so hard against a team where they dominate physically? I mean, you don't want to. What Atlanta's known for is running and gunning and getting hot and hitting a whole bunch of threes in a row and putting up 20 points in 4 minutes a game clock or less. This is what this Atlanta team's about. So they like to play fast. Philly's way bigger than them. All they need to do is just play fundamental basketball and rebound and defend, and the other team doesn't have a chance. So, I mean, if the NBA is real, and that's how you know pro sports can't be real, because, okay, if you go watch, if you're a parent, right, and you have a 10-year-old and you play in some league sport, you know that like maybe twice a year you play a certain team and your team just gets crushed because those players are bigger and they're better. It's not like one day your kid's team's going to show up and compete with the land of the giants. They're going to get smashed every time. That's why pro sports can't be that way, because they can't be real. Otherwise, the casinos would go broke. They got to be rigged. And if you can't see these sports are rigged, I mean, to me, it's been obvious my whole life. I knew there was something in the numbers. That's why I figured this out eventually, and we've been killing it ever since. And again, anyone who doubts that we've been killing it, man, just go through the track record. From 2014, when we started calling games, up to the present. Again, a long list of accomplishments, and where we've missed, we haven't been that far off. But the rituals, the Suns getting to 9-3 against the Nuggets, all time in the playoffs. Nuggets 93, the Sun 93 million miles away per the science books. And again, if you know what I'm talking about, our scientific understanding, the calendar we're on, the language we speak, all of this stuff put together at the end of the 16th century, all roads lead to Rome. You know, Rome was the sun cult. We're on a sun calendar. And yeah, so I guess we can take some calls. We can take a few calls and see what other people got to say. I always wait for somebody to try and call in and bring a good debate. There's like people that will troll all day in the comments. And you can always see the pack of trolls. They'll always, like their troll comment. It'll have the most likes. It's just like, God, YouTube is something else, man. They take away people's likes. They promote the trolls. But hold on. Okay. All right. The phone line should be open if you want to call in. For the person who commented, how can you catch me live doing this? Again, just the Patreon page. Patreon.com/Zachary K. Hubbard. If you're on a computer, you can also do it on your cell phone, but if you go to my website, GematriaEffect.news, there's no .com after that, it's just GematriaEffect.news. On a computer, the Patreon link's right there. I only charge $5 a month. That gets you all the sports content I do. And I'm back doing it right now. So, yeah, that's one way to do it. On your cell phone, if you go there, you'll just have to scroll down the page and you'll see the Patreon link. 604?
Hi, Zachary. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Pretty good, thanks. Very good. It's great to be a first-time caller, long-time listener. But I got to say here, with respect to people placing bets on the rigged sports that we so often like to decode, there is an element of astrological connection to Gematria that I know Rambo touches on it from time to time, and for the few that are familiar with the fact that astrology and the zodiac placements of planets and so forth, if they have that knowledge, they can use that as an added bonus when trying to decode games.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Yeah. Astrology is a huge piece of it. So that's something I definitely need to study more. Yeah.
So
Here,
with Mercury.
just to make your point, this whole thing about Simone Biles, how she had the goats on her uniform as she won her 7th. Did you hear about this?
No, I did not.
So Simone Biles just set a record, winning her 7th U.S. gymnastics title, and this happened on Sunday, June 6th. But the next day, the mainstream media on June 7th, they made a big deal about how on her leotard there were goats sewn on there. She wins her 7th goat, just like Brady with the 7 goat thing earlier this year, the killings of the Goatville neighborhoods at Yale the night before. But Simone Biles, all the stories about her with the goat came on June 7th. And that date, June 7th, can be written 7-6 or 6-7. The Capricorn logo, or the symbol for Capricorn, looks like 76. And again, Brady this year, he went from 6 Super Bowls to 7. We talked about this around the time of the Super Bowl. But then Simone Biles, this emphasis on her being the GOAT, with the June 7th date when Capricorn 7-6. And again, Capricorn is the GOAT. So you just see how they are paying tribute to astrology, and even though we're not in the time of Capricorn right now, they're still doing the ritual in tribute to Capricorn through the numbers. So the point I'm just trying to make is it all goes together.
That's right. And I'll bet if I take that information that you just shared and look at how the Mercury, Saturn, and Pluto are all planets in retrograde position right now, there might be some connection there. So this might be some homework for me moving forward.
Okay, I appreciate the tip.
Yes, listen, Zach, it's great to finally talk to you. It's sunny. I've never called in, and now I have the opportunity to chat with you when I'm listening in on Wednesday nights. It'll be great to call in and give my input whenever possible.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you always being here and supporting the community, so thank you so much.
Oh, I love everyone, man. I'm telling you, Zach, you're putting a whole bunch of us together, and I think you're probably not aware, but there are a lot of little communities building up on the outside, and I think by the time everyone's established themselves independently, it could be something continuing to grow into a very large group of people that have this information and are using it to, I think, the proper benefits. So thank you. Thanks for this.
All right. I appreciate it, Sonny.
All right. Take care.
All right. Yeah, take care.
Caller.
Yeah, have a good night.
Goodbye.
Okay, but yeah, just the same stuff all year. Just this year of sevens, and it's just it's just so in your face, man. And then the other thing about the GOAT is, and again, I'm not making any accusations. A lot of people leave comments. Nothing would surprise me, so I'm not taking any side on this. I'm just putting it out there. A lot of people make the argument that they think Simone Biles might have been born a man, and it's kind of an unfair advantage because they're more physically gifted. And again, the Baphomet, male and female, is GOAT too. It just makes you wonder. Some people say Tom Brady's a woman. I can't. It's hard for me to imagine. What's up, 858?
Fuck up, you piece of shit. Fuck you, you piece of shit. That's it, baby. Fuck you. How the fuck did you miss out on fucking Gonzaga, bro? How the fuck you miss out on that, you fucking Jewish piece of shit?
All right, so there's one of the trolls. And by the way, we didn't miss it with the Gonzaga thing, really, because I told people to hedge with Baylor. I knew Gonzaga was in trouble. And we weren't far off. We had Gonzaga to have the perfect season. It was only one game off. We called that early. But then we saw Baylor's riddle, man. But there's the trolls. That's how they do it. Weak. 315.
Hey, pretty good.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah. Hey, listen, I think you do a great job. I can't even imagine how many hours you spend on this research. I was just wondering a couple of things. Number one, how can we use some of this knowledge of gematria in something other than sports?
The stock market, crypto, to see the news before it happens, call elections before it happens, all the ways we've done it, call out what days cities are going to go underwater before they happen, all the ways we've done it over the years.
Stock market and crypto. Okay, that's still gambling. But some of the other stuff you just mentioned, yeah, okay, I can see that. Any other ideas? Like, just in our daily lives, not necessarily politics.
Here, I got a question real quick. Like, have you ever watched one of my videos and listened to the things I say?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, I'm not a...
Well, why do you even have to ask me that? I mean, aren't I always saying that the main point is try to wake up people to the agenda so we can end the agenda? Have you read my book? I mean,
well, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm a truther, and I'm anti-vax and I'm anti-bullshit and I don't wear a mask and all this. And so I was wondering how I can use some of this, because most of the time I see you on sports shows where you're talking about sports. I know you have other videos. I don't watch all of your videos, but I'm telling you, I really admire your work, and I was just wondering if you had a couple of quick answers of some other ways that we can use this. But you did.
So I just gave you like a mind-blowing list of ways it can be used. Is there anything else in the world that is anywhere near as diverse and useful? It's like you heard the list. You're like, okay, some of those things could be useful, dude. All of those things are what have the power to free humanity. I appreciate you, man. You have a good night. God, I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel like humanity's just a brick wall. By the way, the Angels, and a lot of you guys, your whole night was hanging on the Angels coming through. The Angels have come through. Rest easy. We had a lot of anxious people in the community until the Angels game just ended. We like the Angels tonight as well. I didn't want to say anything because I feel like I have the power to jinx things, as stupid as that might sound. But tonight, the Angels became 4-2 in interleague play in Arizona, which has the 42 connection. And a lot of times there's a trade-off in sports. Like tonight, we love the Suns to play, right, and win. We love the Suns tonight, Arizona team. Diamondbacks. See how the Diamondbacks go down 5-6? Again, that's the number why we had the Phoenix Suns before the season began pegged to be in the Western Conference Finals. And I guess I'd done my homework a little bit better. I would have had them getting past the Lakers instead of losing to the Lakers. Because, again, I thought LeBron was getting to 5-6 in the finals this year, on his way to 6-6 on the 3P, and LeBron still can't get to 6-6. Keep that in mind. Lakers is 66, LeBron is 66, LeBron James is 66. Back to number 6 now. He advanced to the playoffs 66 days after Steph Curry's birthday in the play-in game, getting his 43rd win of the season for the 7th seed after Brady at age 43 gets his 7th Super Bowl. Remember, GOAT's 43. All this stuff is GOAT ritual. By the way, Bulls is also 66, like Jordan. on the Bulls that go to the NBA. 914.
Yeah, what's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up, man?
Yo, I can't believe I'm on the show right now. This is crazy. But I just appreciate everything you do, bro. But I just wanted to say one thing. I'm not going to take up all day, but the Space Jam trailer, I don't know if you remember, it came out on 4/4, which is Easter.
Okay. I don't think I've seen it, actually. The new Space Jam movie. I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, it's about, like, AI technology, and I think that's going to be a big ritual for the next 23 years, like the first Space Jam ritual was. But,
That's what's taking over the world, man. AI. That's why they're able to censor everything as fast as they do.
bro, exactly. And in the trailer, even LeBron James in the trailer says something like, he says, what, it's like, is this a Matrix shit or something? Not shit, but he says, like, this is a Matrix or something like that. But he makes a comment about that in the trailer. But this is definitely about AI, and the Monstars are like robots now. They're not like aliens. It's AI. But anyways, that trailer came out on Easter. Obviously, the Rabbit connection, Bugs Bunny. But he changed his jersey number to number 6 exactly 66 days after the release of that trailer. So you have that 6-6 again. LeBron James 6-6, LeBron 6-6, Lakers 6-6. You have the hypothesis he's going to go 6-6 in the finals. And it also came out he changed his number 37 days before his 37th birthday. So that's a huge, I thought was a crazy connection with the number 6, because in the movie he's wearing number 6, jersey number 6. He's going back to that. Also, with the whole astrology thing, I think the reason why you're getting that 56 so much has to do with that great conjunction we had last year, where Saturn and Jupiter, which is the 5th and 6th planet, and if you look at the NBA with all the stars now, you'll see, which is a traditional planet, Pisces ruled by Jupiter, I believe, you're seeing a huge influx of NBA superstars that are all Pisces. Joel Embiid, Pisces. Jason Tatum, Pisces. Jokic, Pisces. Anthony Davis, Pisces. Stephen Curry, Pisces. Like, if you just look at all the number of NBA superstars that are Pisces right now, it's crazy. And then you saw the connection between LeBron and Stephen Curry, who was Saturn and Pisces. They had the conjunction on the All-Star game, where it's the first time they ever played together. So that's pretty much all I had with the whole LeBron thing. I'm sorry the whole LeBron ritual didn't work out this year, but if you look at the connection between the GM of the Suns, James Jones, he's LeBron James and Dwayne Wade's favorite teammate ever. He also pulled a trade last year, I believe, where he basically released Tyson Chandler as a favor for them. You can look that up on the internet. He basically gave the Lakers a free center. And I think this year, LeBron kind of returned the favor a little bit with the Phoenix Suns, basically to give his old buddy James Jones a boost. And as you know, LeBron James, CP3 have an old friendship, all friends. James Jones, all these dudes are all connected. You have the Steve Nash, Jason Kidd connection. I think you're going to see that play out with Nash going against the Suns in the finals. Then Tony, his former coach, also coached the Suns. You're going to get that storyline. And I think next year
So that's what we talked about. So before the season began, so just to put out, here's what I can make the video public. But before the NBA season began, my prediction was that it would be a repeat of the 56th NBA season, Lakers over Nets, because LeBron was going to get to 5-6. The final start on a 56th date. Barclays centers 56. And then the whole thing was Steve Nash and the Suns. That was part of the reason I thought the Suns would be who the Lakers went through in the Western Conference Finals, because Phoenix Suns got the true 56 connection. And so, I mean, it wasn't far off the mark, and it very well just might be.
You were on point.
Yeah.
You were on point. I think that was supposed to happen, but you have to understand, like, I think the one thing you can't really predict is injuries. And even, like, you know, maybe I think sometimes they fake it. I think obviously KD faked his Achilles injury, but I think that groin injury with AD was actually legitimate. I think that LeBron was supposed to go through Golden State. He was supposed to go through Phoenix. He's supposed to go through the team that had the coronavirus. But I think that they just got
they literally just got hurt. I think that also the Kwame Brown ritual. There's a huge ritual called Kwame Brown. I'm sorry, I don't want to take up all your time, but there's a lot built up about this stuff. I just love what you do, bro, because even though you may not be right about everything, it really gets you thinking about exactly how they're pulling this off. And I really don't think that it's necessarily scripted. I think that they put these narratives and these scripts and their assets in certain places and kind of let it fulfill itself. And they kind of manifest things. But I think that you were right. I think that they wanted LeBron to get to the Nets, but I think they just fell short. In regards to the astrology, just look at how many Pisces is in the league right now. And then if you see the connection between Devin Booker and Trae Young, of course, for the 33rd parallel, Atlanta and Phoenix, they also have that statue in Atlanta, the Phoenix of the Ashes. I mean, Atlanta from the Ashes. It's called the Phoenix statue. If you can look into that, obviously, as well, on the 33rd parallel, they have that connection. DMX.
What the Phoenix statue is where?
It's in Atlanta.
Atlanta.
They have
Okay.
a statue. They have a statue in Atlanta that's called the Phoenix, and it's allegedly it's an ode to the Civil War, but it's really about that connection between Atlanta and Phoenix being on the 33rd parallel. That's just my hypothesis. I'm pretty sure it's probably connected to something even we probably don't even know, but that's just something that I noticed about the league. But I think that next year you're gonna see that I think you just called it a year too early. I think you're gonna see LeBron in the finals next year, and I think Jason Kidd's gonna be the coach, because you got to remember, not take too much time, sorry, bro, but you got to remember NBA history. Jason Kidd and Steve Nash both came from Phoenix. Then Steve Nash got moved to Dallas when he started playing with Dirk Nowitzki, and then Jason Kidd got moved to New Jersey.
Yeah.
So then Steve Nash obviously came back to Phoenix. He won an MVP in Phoenix, but Jason Kidd never won an MVP, but he went to Dallas and won a championship. So Jason Kidd got the championship. Steve Nash got the MVP. Now they're going to be both coaches. You have Steve Nash coming up with the Nets. I think that since Frank Vogel lost this year, I think LeBron gave him that favor, returned that favor at Phoenix. I think you're going to see maybe sometime in the middle of the season, maybe next year, they fire Frank Vogel, and then they elevate Jason Kidd, because Jason Kidd turned down the job in Portland. But he's from Oakland, and he has a connection with Damian Lillard, who's also from Oakland. So I think they're either going to try to bring in Steph or Dame, and they're going to elevate Jason Kidd, and then they're going to have KD. And after KD wins this year, I think they're going to beat the Suns in the finals this year. After KD wins this year, they're going to have that final showdown, maybe between maybe these last two, might be between the Lakers Nets, because I think they really want LeBron and KD to keep facing up with each other, because I think they finished with the whole LeBron Steph situation. I think and they call KD the balance of power. KD always swings the balance of power of the NBA. He's a leader. So
Yeah.
I just find that hilarious that they always say that KD's the balance of power in NBA. He goes to the West, then he goes to the East, and whatever side he goes to usually wins the championship that year. So, it is what it is. Good shit as always, Zach, man. We love you, bro. Stay safe out there, man. Some of these callers are trolls and they're crazy, but just know that there's people out here that appreciate you, bro.
All right, man. Appreciate it. You have a good night.
No problem, man.
All right,
You
take
too,
care.
bro.
By the way, another big win for us today was Djokovic getting past Nadal, because my hunch this year is, remember, I've taught this many times before just for free. Djokovic, his number is 53. When you spell his name, Novak Djokovic. 53 in the most pure cipher. This year began with the 53rd Australian Open. He won it. He got his 18th Grand Slam. If he swept all the events this year, he'd pass Federer and Nadal, beating him to 21 in 21. His name is also 73, the 21st prime. What's up, 310?
Hey, what's up, Zach? Hey, thanks for taking my call, man. Hey, I called in not too long ago in regards to the Utah Jazz being 41 years old, and how that 41 connection just kept coming up with the team. But basically, my original prediction, or I should say, when I just going off of you, Zach, is that the whole thing this year was about the 14. In other words, it was totally about Elgin Baylor's death. And me and my friends debated, like, no, the LA to Brooklyn connection can still happen. We just disagreed. I believed it was the Clippers because it was the 51-year anniversary of their franchise birth, right? So, in other words, I just want to know that when it happened, Black Rob died at 51. There was like that ritual where I told you the Mavs beat the Clippers by 51 points on March 22nd, 2021, which is exactly 86 days from Elgin Baylor's death. You know, so the 86 was there. But more than anything, this also turned into something where, you know, for what it's worth, the Clip Show were down 0-2 against the Mavericks. And in just like Miami Heat fashion in 2006, they came back to beat them. So, in other words, I kind of feel like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are following the path of the Chicago Bulls because they're always referencing Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Paul George is actually a Taurus. Like, shout out to your last caller. He was dead on. He's born May 2nd, if I'm not mistaken, 1989 or 1990, excuse me. And if you look on the day that he's born and you look at the games that he's played, you'll notice that the Bulls won and the I don't have it in front of me. Basically, so in other words, Paul George is 31 years old this year, and 31 is significant. You know, so obviously James Harden is 31. Kawhi Leonard was born June 29th, 1991. There's just this connection between the Bulls and the Clippers because the Clippers used to be called the Buffalo Braves. They are the other Bulls. And my friends and I got to this point where we understand why the Bulls went 6-0 in the 90s, and the goddamn Buffalo Bills went 0-4, Zach. 64.
Huh. Funny.
You know, and it was, think about it, the greatest team in NBA history is considered the Bulls, and the biggest disappointment is considered those Buffalo Bills, hence both Bulls. So we had this thing where, okay, when Cleveland came into the league, it was Cleveland, Portland, and Buffalo Braves in 1971, I believe. And again, two of those three guys won already. You know, the Cleveland Cavaliers after 52 years. So I'm hoping I'm not 1 year off, you know, with the Clippers. But honestly, it's the only other connection I see, Zach, is just that, you know, getting connected to 2006 and 2011, that's when Elgin Baylor was Executive of the Year, 2006. And it was their greatest season ever because that's the first time they beat who? The Denver Nuggets. And they beat them 4-1. That's why they lost to the Denver Nuggets last year. So I believe it's a huge shaming ritual for the Clip Show because they were down 3-1, and now they're facing it. My only problem is Utah was also down 3-1, hence the 31 ritual. And I really don't know between Utah and the Clip Show, but I think one of those are going to be the champs. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, might not take up too much of your time, but, yeah, 47 years ago, the New Orleans Jazz were founded, and that's the 47-year anniversary. The 41 years when they were born in Utah. And then to boot, the 11 ritual that we keep seeing over and over again, Mark Eaton died after 11 seasons in the NBA. And he's just, you see, the Utah sacrifices are coming out of nowhere, Zach. That's what's confused me. But I've been on the Clippers, you know, all the way through, just following every step that they're taking. So, but yeah, that's all. I just wanted to say and as far as the predictions go, fuck those guys, bro. You were dead on with football, basketball. Basketball is the hardest thing to predict anyway. It's just, I give you a lot of credit, man. This is the hardest sport when it comes to that shit. So, much love to you, man. And, don't let nobody, you know, discourage you or anything. But I'll tell you that much though, man. 2006, that's kind of how I knew the writing was on the wall for the Lakers to lose. Cause in 06, he had to walk the path of Kobe. Kobe was down 3-1 and he got eliminated by the Suns. So it was only fair that LeBron had to go through that same shit. And another thing, Mavericks and Lakers were both 42 wins this year, and they both got eliminated. So you weren't the only one who were off. A lot of people had Lakers.
Yeah.
You know, so, but that's all. I just think it's, yeah, go ahead.
Appreciate it, man. I'm just going to let somebody else get in. But, yeah, I appreciate you. Great thoughts.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Got it, man.
Take care.
Thank you.
231.
Hi. Is it just sports that we're talking about?
Well, what do you want to talk about?
Okay. Well, it's kind of random, but it's just there was a caller that I've called like probably 1,000 times. I'm a member of the Patreon, even though I don't do sports at all. And yeah, I've been following you for about a little more than a year and a half. There was a caller that had just called, and I don't know why he asked it, but about like what all can you do with the Gematria, basically. aside from sports and all that. And I just want to say that because I'm not into sports, since learning about you, I've started I don't know, it changed everything with me in regards with like what I watch, what I'm into, like everything. So I started backtracking and like looking over and like rewatching shows that I used to watch, for instance. And like I used to watch Love and Hip Hop. Like I used to just love that show. And it dawned on me that there's season 5 of Love and Hip Hop, and on there is where there's a character, Erica and Cynthia, but she goes by the name Sin. And it's funny that they have a new lesbian relationship. Well, then one of them ends up cheating with the other, with a guy from Yakima. And it's just like all throughout the show, you'll see like posters, like stuff about like Dykeman in there. But like, I don't know, like obviously I'm not from not obviously, but I'm not from New York. So I don't know, like I'm sure it's a real place and everything. It's just funny how they put that out there.
Sure.
And then I watched this Netflix show that just came out like this year. It's this guy named Bo Burnham. Anybody can look it up on there. It's the total length of the show is 1 hour and 27 minutes. Exactly at the 1 hour and 2 minute mark, and again, it's on Netflix. He goes to start. It's a random skit for like maybe 20 seconds. He starts like playing a piano and just talking about like he goes from one scene to this scene. And he just starts singing Jeffrey Bezos, and like behind him, it's all sun, like laser, like making the sun around him while he's playing it. Like, I just wanted to tell the guy that that basically, or anybody else, like you just pay attention to shows. Like, there's so many shows on Netflix, on Hulu, on Pluto, even like where if you just listen to them, where like if they're talking about like a murder or something like that, you constantly hear 38, the person was 38, or with mile marker or something, or 83, constantly. And it's like, it's repetitive. It's ridiculous that nobody else picks up on that. Like,
exactly.
Exactly.
That's why I say this knowledge should free you from the matrix and see what's being done. I mean, Sweet Lady used to always watch Investigation Discoveries, and just the numbers they're constantly putting on the screen is just nonstop. It's like, come on. Exact thing I'm teaching about is just all over this show and this episode too, and this one. Come on.
Like I have a friend that constantly they'll watch Dateline or anything. Like I don't know about anymore. Like they used to watch it like all the time, and they still watch here and there. And it's like I could be watching it and just kind of eavesdropping with them, and it's like I hear it, and I don't I can't, like I'm not understanding how they just don't hear it. Like does their mind not hear numbers? Like, it's not like random numbers. It's you're hearing these same numbers over and over and over on multiple shows. Like, it's just crazy to me that people don't, like, they just don't pick up on that. Like, how could all these different networks, different shows...
Well, they say it takes a certain level of intelligence to recognize patterns, and greater pattern recognition skills are associated with greater intelligence. I really appreciate your call and observation, though, and you phoning in tonight and sharing that. I'm going to let the next person get in. You take care.
Nope, that's all. You
all right. Have a good night. Bye. 609? 609 510.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, what's up?
Not much. I want to ask you a question.
Yeah?
I've been watching you since God knows how long, and I'm on your side and everything. Everything is fixed and everything, but where is this really getting us?
Well, is it my fault that the world's not progressing? I mean, I don't think it's my fault. I'm putting out a lot of knowledge and information that should have done a lot for humanity by now in the information age. So,
Like, I know the president, Ford, it's all fake and everything, but can we do something else about it that are just making money on it?
So what all things am I doing right now?
You're doing the right job, but people are just listening to you like, oh, what's his next pick? Oh, was he like the Jazz tonight? Like,
so here, I hear you calling in and complaining. Are you on Free to Find Truth right now, helping organize your people in your community like Bart? Because I pay $1,000 a month to run that website for people like Bart who are doing things like that. What are you doing?
You're doing the right job.
So what are you doing? What are you doing?
We're not doing the right job.
What are you doing?
We're just hearing you.
Who's we? No, you. I asked you, not we. What are you doing?
I'm just waiting to see what basketball pick you like.
Exactly. You're not doing anything. All right, have a good night, man. Yeah. I don't know why you're waiting on me. I'm paying for a website to help people link up and organize and not be censored, and how many people are actually using it? Not enough. 404, what's up?
Well, it's crazy. It's the first time I ever got it's the first time you ever answered when the first time I called. It's Jay. I just joined you. Is you only talking about sports?
Well, people are calling in about all sorts of stuff. What's going on?
No, I just seen you talking about the show. What's the show? Not the show, the movie. Awake. I was just calling to see if you seen that shit because it's crazy, like the mockery.
Well, I did stay up extra late and watched it last night. And again, if you guys have not heard about this new movie, Awake on Netflix, it's about something. The theory at the beginning is like an EMP's gone off because everything electronic doesn't work. Cars that have computers in them don't work. And then later in the movie, they figure out that what happened is there was a solar flare that wiped out the entire power grid. But the solar flare was also so powerful, it disrupted something in our mind, so it made impossible for people to sleep. And then people discover at the end the only people who can sleep are people who happen to have like died around the time that this happened, but then were brought back to life like in a hospital with the jolt to the chest. So,
and it kind of makes you think of the concept of like the Great Reset and reset.
Exactly. We're talking. I mean, I just made the video even public on this sports channel about the whole power grid symbolism just days ago, and then this show just came out, and it looks like maybe it just came out 2 days ago. The New York Times wrote about it 2 days ago, so it's about when I heard about it.
And you seen the 500 million thing that they did with Pfizer, right? If you type in Pfizer and 500 million, they both on the 44.
Like the Georgia Guidestone's going to turn 44 in 2024.
The same method. Yeah, and it's just crazy, like to see everybody conform. Like, I think I don't know if I mentioned before, but like my mom was the only person who hadn't got the vaccine, and now she's getting it, and it's funny because it just it's. When they first came out with the shit, she was like adamant about it. Like, yeah, I'm not taking that rushed out shit. And now she's on the phone encouraging me to get it and shit. But she's still saying that, okay, if you don't want to get it, then that's fine. But it's just crazy to see, like same thing with my sister's boyfriend. He was like, yeah, I'm not touching that shit. And then later on, I'm just overhearing him talk to my dad and casually speaking about the side effects and shit. Like, it's like, what the fuck happened?
Indeed.
I really, but again, I knew this shit signed up for you. We got to be prepared to be alone.
Somebody was just telling the same story to me on the corner the other day. The woman who came out there, she was saying that, a year ago there was a person who said there was no way they were going to get it. And now they've already got it and telling everybody else to get it. And she's like, it's just funny watching how people just go against what they said.
Yeah, so. people just turn, people just switch, like 180. Like
that's how you just see like the power of crowds and stuff, and just like the human nature to conform. So
exactly, they just go. They were questioning stuff that seemed. Everybody was questioning stuff that seemed off. It was like, they all rushing it out. What's going on? And they just ended up getting it. It's like fuck it.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy, man.
I ain't never fit in with the crowd.
That's why the only way we're gonna change.
It's like voting. It's like the voting shit. Same thing with voting. Only one of my family that didn't go out to vote. And I'm telling people logical arguments. I'm even telling people what's gonna happen because I was watching your channel back then. That was the first video that I uploaded to my channel. It was on election day before it got deleted, and I was saying how it was rigged for Biden. People were still going out to vote. And that's why it's funny. It's like people ask, "What's the point of this knowledge?" But those be the same people that was like standing in line for hours to go vote in the cold.
Right, truly doing something pointless, just like participating in a lie, like helping validate a lie. That's what I say. Voting is helping validate a lie. You're helping it look legitimate, and it is not. It's a mockery.
Exactly. But all right, I'll let you get some more people in here.
All right, Jay. Keep up the good work.
All right.
Yeah. Have a good night, man.
You too.
Jay Witt, Open Eyes. Leave the H off. He keeps getting censored. Young man in Atlanta doing good work. I noticed this movie came out June 9th, 2021, a date with 56 numerology. Remember the Public Enemy album, What You Can Do When the Grid Goes Down? Came out 56 days after Chuck D's birthday. 949?
Hi, is this Zach?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Zach. I'm your biggest fan, girl. This is Reese.
How are you? Thank you for calling in.
You're welcome. Thank you for picking up. Yeah, I just wanted to tell you about Simone Biles. It's all in the hips. And the easiest way to see what they're doing to us is the hip shoulder ratio. I mean, we are so used to seeing hair and boobs, and we think girl. But you got to erase all that. You know, they do female feminization on their face, and, you know, they can change that, but they can't change the hip and the shoulder ratio. And if you Google Simone Biles bathing suit, specifically bikini, you can see her Adonis belt. Her and Allie Raisman are boys. Okay? No doubt about it.
Well,
Giselle Bundchen. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, everything you're saying, I'm listening to. And I always say, you know, I don't have any, there's nothing that makes me 100% sure of anything. But to me, this goat ritual is them hinting at it. Because, again, the Baphomet is male and female. And
right.
Again, the Capricorn connection, and Capricorn's the goat, and the Baphomet's part goat. I mean, and also the date June 7th, it can be written 7-6 or 6-7. Satanic is 67. All this stuff they're doing is truly, I know it's all no good, and it's all ritual. And it's like these are Manchurians that were like born and bred to be, and they would be that sophisticated, I suppose. If you want to set new marks in women's sports, what about cheating and, you know, raising a young boy to be a young girl and master gymnast? And I mean, when you watch Simone Biles, it is amazing. It's like, how can anybody compete with that? I mean, you've never seen anything like it. So
right. And back up a little bit. You just said raising boys to be girls. Allie raised men. This
sure.
is what they do. They trick
yeah.
They trick us by putting these names in, like,
it's mockery. You're right. How do you spell her name? I'm not even familiar with her. How do you spell her name? I think I found it. I found it. Here she is. Allie Raisman. Okay.
There's a bikini picture in there of Allie Raisman and Simone Biles together, and you can see the Adonis belt. There's no hiding it. You cannot erase the Adonis belt.
For people who don't know what that is, which includes myself, well, tell me what that is.
Adonis belt is the two lines over the private area of a man. There are two vertical lines that go up and down.
I see.
And the photographers are in on it. I'm a photographer. I'm a professional photographer. I'm published. I've traveled around the world and whatnot. But anyways, besides that, I just want to give you a little backstory on me. I can see. I have an eye for little things. And what the photographers are doing, and I think Photoshop was invented to erase the Adonis belt. Because a lot of these movie stars, you can see them on the beach in Malibu, and they come out on People and all these different magazines. But right where the Adonis belt goes, it's kind of blurry. So that's a giveaway that they're men. They're all men. Like all those chicks on Friends, they're men. Courtney Cox.
Oh man, it would not surprise. You know, I was never attracted to celebrities. Like people be oohing and on about celebrities. I'd be like, I don't know why you guys are so into them. We got cuter girls at our school. And yeah, so Courtney Cox. I mean, you can't get bigger mockery if that is the truth, and nothing would surprise me. So.
Jennifer Aniston too, and check this out because I used to have a crush on George Clooney. He is a woman, and he's married to a very small Arab man.
Huh.
Okay. Yeah. Another one, and I'm telling you, this goes way back because remember in the olden days how men used to play the parts of women.
Sure. That's the old theater, right? Yeah. Men play all parts, right?
Okay. So the days of, let's just say, Bogey and Bacall. Lauren Bacall is a man. Remember how they say, oh, she just has a really thick voice because she was a smoker. She's a man. And Bogey is really a woman. Okay? And this one's going to blow people out of the park. Marilyn Monroe is a man. There's that picture of her singing Happy Birthday, Mr. President. Look at her back. Men have straight backs. Men cannot give birth. A woman has a curve in her back because our pelvis is tilted so that the baby won't fall out. Okay, there's ways to see. Like, men have a brow ridge. Women do not. I mean, get your lovely lady, what do you call her? Sweet lady?
Right.
Okay, look at her. You both stand in front of the mirror and look at each other. You have a brow ridge. She does not. Even if she's Asian or Indian?
She's Asian, yeah.
Okay, she does not have a brow ridge. I don't even know you people, only you from this journey you have me on for being my teacher, Zach.
Sure.
You have a brow ridge.
I understand this, right? Right, I get that.
The other thing is the hand. If you hold your hand out in front of you, a woman's ring finger is smaller than the index. Men's fingers are pretty much the middle finger and the ring finger are the same size, right? Look at yours. Same size, right?
Middle finger and ring finger, same size?
The ring finger and your middle finger are relatively the same size, right?
You mean like the same length?
Yeah, same length.
No, I know what you're talking about, because normally the fingers on the opposites, or the fingers that are next to the middle finger, normally in men, the one that's your ring finger is a little bit shorter than the one that's to the right of your middle finger, right?
No, in women, it's shorter. In women, it's shorter, but that's not like the dad giveaway. I mean, sometimes men might have a shorter. You got to look at all things. But the main thing that you look at is the hip to shoulder ratio. Like, look, Shakira sings that song, The Hips Don't Lie.
Right.
She sings that. She's in the club too, and so is J-Lo. That was the big mockery when they did their Super Bowl thing, and those two opened up portals. And if you watch that Super Bowl. And remember, it was on some weird date, 2-2-2-2-2 or something like that. You recall?
Yeah, it was. It was February 2nd. It was a big 2-2-2 ritual. Andy Reid got his 222nd career win on 2-2 and a few other things.
Yeah. The way that they show that they're men is they grab their crotch. They're showing the people that, like us that don't know, J-Lo's always grabbing her crotch. J-Lo's one of them. And some of them are more sophisticated where you're like, no, like, I don't want it to be. Like, my friend was telling me that Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor are. And I said, no, I don't want Elizabeth to be. I don't want to hear anymore. Because there's just, like, so much that you can take. And it's like, maybe I'm in denial. I don't know. I don't want Elizabeth Taylor to be one of those. But they're all over Hollywood. They're in sports. They're in entertainment.
If Jeff Young's out there, that's what he's always telling me. Jeff Young for years has been telling me, he's like, he's like, you wouldn't believe how many people in this celebrity world are trannies. So.
Yeah. Some daughters in, some kids in my daughter's school. And I'm like, they're freaking trannies. Now, I haven't told my daughter yet, but I'm sizing them up, and I was like, you see these girls come out, these tennis aces. I mean, it's like they're men. They're literally beating women in high school sports, and they're men. So, yeah. Did you want to ask me if?
Well, there's a person who keeps calling from the Netherlands. I want to let them get in real quick. So I appreciate it. That was great to hear from you, Reese. Thank you for all that. You have a good night.
Hey, and thanks for crowning me queen the other night.
Indeed. You're welcome. You have a good night.
Okay.
Bye. Netherlands?
Hey, Zach.
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. We spoke earlier this year around January 6th. I called him like something's going to happen with Donald Trump the next day.
Okay.
Yeah, and I found something crazy this morning, and I'll be seeing it for weeks. Like Euro 2020 is going to start.
Okay.
And if you take the zero away, it will be 22. And if you type in Italy, it's also 22. And if you go to Wikipedia, I can see Italy is like they won one time, and they are like a two-time runner-up. So if they win, they'll be 2-2.
I see. Okay, good observation.
Yeah. And I found out today Finland is playing against Greece. I was looking at it. Let me take it. Finland is playing against Denmark, and Finland has the day numerology 39, like Belgium is also playing today against how do you say? They are playing against Russia.
Okay.
Yeah, and for tomorrow it's like a 25th date numerology, and Sweden is also 25.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and I have a question for you, Zach.
Okay.
Like I've been playing like the knowledge for some weeks now, and every time like I almost miss one game. Almost every time, just one game.
Yeah, that's why it's very common because a lot of the rituals will come through at a rate of about 3 out of 4. So, I mean, if you have a 14 parlay, it's possible that one of those teams could break it. That's why you start parlaying more than 3 teams, it gets tricky. But you can do it. It's done every day. So, but yeah, that's very common. There's usually one game that breaks the pattern, and you got to fill that game out a lot of the time.
Yeah, and I have another question for you. Like, I'm not a Dutch person. I'm from Ghana, and last time some Ghana guy called me like the whole Ghana is in Freemasonry, and I'm starting to believe it because like 2016, my dad died on March 22nd, and he was born on 18th November, and how do you say it? I was 22 that time. And that's the day I started looking into numbers. And 2020, I finally got to you. So I want to thank you for everything. So I'm starting to understand my life right now.
Well, you're very welcome.
Gematria.
You're very welcome. It makes me happy to hear that. I mean, that's why I put it out there. I knew if this knowledge reached the right people, it would help them out. So.
It's helping me out, and now I'm trying to wake up people around me. Like, I live in a bad place in Amsterdam, like a bad neighborhood, and all my friends were like in the program to gain life. And now they are starting to wake up, and I'm teaching them how to move with the cryptos. I told my friends, like, don't put your money in cryptos after April 13th. They were laughing me out, like, it's still going up. And I'll say, yeah, but I'm not putting any money in it right now. And now they are all like lining up to learn Gematria. So thank you very much. And I'm going to push on with the work. And I ordered your book some months ago. And I'm also on your Patreon. I support you daily. And I watch you daily. Thank you very much for changing my life.
Well, you're welcome. I really appreciate your support, too. I'm glad you're out there. And keep up the good work, man. You have a good night.
Yeah. No problem. I'll start going to the city center, and I'll bring a big speaker, and I'll just play your YouTube video so the police give me a fine.
I look forward to that.
Thank you very much.
Yes. All right.
I'll send you the video.
I can't wait. All right. You have a good night, man.
Much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. 772.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. Hey man, what's up?
Just doing the stream. What's going on?
Hey, so I found
this cereal after Patrick Mahomes. It's called Mahomes Magic Crunch, and Mahomes Magic Crunch in the most pure cipher is 84. I noticed, but
Oh, that reminds me. With regards to 84, I forgot to mention that Simone Biles, her record 7th championship was exactly 84 days after her birthday, and on a Sunday. And yeah, again, it's just all roads lead to Rome. But again, for people who don't know, 84 is the big number with the Jesuits. It's also a big number with this nation. So again, her record 7th gymnastics title in the U.S. in this year of sevens with all the goat rituals, and the articles written about how she has a goat sewn on there. But from her March 14th Pi Day birthday to the day it happened, June 6th, 84 days. United States of America's 84, just like Jesuit, just like Sunday. And remember, Jesuit and Sunday are the exact same in 3 out of 4 ciphers. And again, she did this June 6th, a Sunday, 3 days before LeBron went back to 6, the other guy that's trying to become the GOAT. So what else is going on, man?
Hey, so did you get my package?
I did get your package. Thank you very much for the dried fruit covered in yogurt. I haven't tried it out yet, but I appreciate it. And you know what? I have your Lego movie right here. But what I need to figure out is a way to play discs, because I know this computer doesn't have a disc thing on it, and neither does our laptop.
Oh,
so
really?
I'll figure out something though.
You don't. Oh, okay. Yeah, those little yogurt things I sent you. That's like some baby food thing. And I don't know why, but like one time a few years ago, I was like, well, you know what? I used to like this as a kid, and I tried it, and they're like amazing. And I've gotten them ever since. They're a little small for a full size person, but they're delicious. Something else that I wanted to say. I have a new blog. I know a few months ago I said that I had one, but I lost the login for it. But I had a new here. Can I put it in the chat? Will you see it so you can show it?
Here, I'm looking at the chat, so okay. I will see it when you post it. Okay, I see it. I see it. Yeah, I see it.
So I well, I mean, this is not essential, but
something happened to your sound. Something happened to your sound.
Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. So I don't know, maybe like 6 months ago, I discovered it's the first one at the top, but so I discovered that TVs have mind control devices in them. I didn't know this. I remember from a while ago. I mean, this got deleted, but I had called in and I said that I suspected that that the government had technology that was low electromagnetic frequencies that they use to control people's minds or human emotions. It turns out that I was exactly right. So anyways, it's actually patented that inside televisions, or at least inside of tube televisions, they were able to get low electromagnetic frequencies, like 0.5 hertz to 2.4 hertz, and they could instill different emotions, and I linked to the patent. But of course, we don't use tube TVs anymore, which is something that I said inside the blog post. And so something that I noticed since I take apart these things like every week is that they have like on the logic board, which is basically what controls the display. They have electromagnets in them, and I have pictures of some of the electromagnets. And so that's the only electronic with electromagnets. There's like no other electronic that has it, and of course a tube TV has no reason. What were you gonna say something?
No, I'm just listening.
Oh, and so there's like absolutely no reason for them to put it inside of television, and that's why it's only in there. And so I showed a board and the electromagnet on it, and I even put the model number and whatever, so if people don't believe me, they can look it up. But those electromagnets look totally different from the transformers that are in there, because they only have 2 windings and not like 4, not 4. And so anyways, the thing even touched on it going through the internet, and them using it from remote computers through the internet to give people emotions. And so I basically said that maybe they can do it in phones, but I don't have evidence of it. But I mean a mobile mind control device in everybody's pockets that can be turned on at any time seems pretty tempting for these people. So I wouldn't be surprised. But I've never taken apart a phone, so.
I see. Yeah, I know there's a lot of stuff out there. If you just look into patents and just stuff that's behind technology, that if you just read that and you're like, wow, okay, that's a thought, that's an idea. There is a lot of stuff that relates to, creating emotions in people and certain sensations. So all sorts of stuff is trying to be achieved through the television. But yeah, mind control, absolutely.
Yeah, and it would make sense too because I mean, and also like I mean, it's just completely irrefutable. This is all like official stuff. But I know of course there's gonna be some idiot out there that thinks it's stupid or whatever. But yeah, that's just so perfect because I mean it kind of makes sense. People are so emotional about all the stories, and they're just like so like convinced. And I think that one of the emotions that the thing can incite is susceptibility. So I think that for dumb people, that's really going to play, a really good part. But I actually own one of these devices. Like I literally like built my own. That's a portable one. It's in its what's it called? Prototype stages. But I actually built the like real deal thing. That's a portable device. I was thinking about selling it, but I'm not sure.
Well, up to you. You'll know best. So.
Because I mean, they kind of already put out the technology, so it's not like I invented anything. But yeah. So that was that's something that I don't really think most people know about that. But yeah, people can look at that, and I know that most people will get something out of that inside our community. But something with Dogecoin that I noticed is that I think it's gonna go to $100. Because something that I noticed, I usually don't do this, but Dogecoin $100 equals 126 and 414. My dad found this out. And on 414, which is April 14th, the Doge went up like a lot. And also 126, Dogecoin was created on December 6th, 2013. So, and I've seen how that number is relevant to Dogecoin. And also something else that I noticed is that there's articles that are like from 6 months ago to a year ago. Oh, will Dogecoin go to $100? And so they said that it would go to the moon, like figuratively. And then now recently, like only a month ago, Elon Musk said that he would send Dogecoin literally to the moon. And so it seems obviously that they're coding something in there with the whole Dogecoin thing. And also just what a mockery, cryptocurrency over some stupid meme is. I mean, it's just such obvious mockery that they're trying to do.
Indeed. Well, I appreciate you doing all the research
also,
and putting it out there. So.
Yeah, and also it has to do with Sirius too, because it's a dog.
Okay. Yeah, Dogecoin.
But yeah, I think that's it. Hey, you want to do a live stream tomorrow, or are you busy?
I think I'll be really busy this weekend because I'm going to go to Seattle Sunday with the megaphone, so we'll see how that goes. So.
Oh, cool. Well, I'll tune in for that then.
All right. Well, keep up the good work, man. I appreciate you.
Okay, thanks.
Right, yeah,
You too.
take it.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. Sunday, I got to go pay Seattle a visit again. And, well, the calls have been anything but what I expected tonight. It was just like, I don't know. It's okay. Let me check in with the chat real quick. Yeah, we covered Shock G's death. I see that question. Here. For anyone who missed me, cover Shock G's death. We'll do it real quick. Well, wait, that was an article I did afterwards. Talked about how he was arrested in the news, kind of shamed on the day, leaving 201 days left in the year, and then he died 201 weeks later. You just had the death of the Lil Loaded rapper 201 days after the MO3 rapper, both from Dallas. 201 all over everything. Sports, hip-hop deaths, Jesuit number. What's up, Al?
Another awesome day, man.
Indeed, it was, man. Nearly every damn thing came through, so...
I think I even had a better day if I wouldn't have listened to some of the callers because, yeah, I mean, the callers, I know you get a lot of great information from the callers, but sometimes they can influence, one way or another.
A lot of people wanted to call in today and get the community on Atlanta and basketball, and I was like, okay, you guys are making good points, but still, I feel like it's through Embiid, and he has the greatest riddle to win, so... Yeah.
Yeah, man, I mean, the Suns thing, it wouldn't even, even if they had lost, I would have still been on the Suns. Man, how can you go against a 93,
Yeah, the Suns 9-3 was too good, so...
And I had parlay structured from your other great day, the day before, where the Suns came in today, and I already, I won. I just needed them. And then I put more in with the Suns today that are structured with the fighters. So, if I get a couple fights in tomorrow, be several thousand. So, and that's where now I can hedge. I can hedge because a couple of them, like the one parlay I sent you, it was an 8-teamer, I think. That one, I need 2 fighters, and they're both favorites. So, I mean, I can hedge those. I can go in and hedge on both of them.
Nice, man.
A $25 bet that pays $8.11. So we can just do the math there.
Here, for people who don't understand what you're saying, so for people who don't understand what Al's saying, he made a $25 bet that potentially pays over $800. And the only 2 things that need to come in on the ticket to make the $800 are 2 fights where those guys are expected to win the fight. But since he now stands to win over $800 and he's only risked $25, just to make sure that he comes out ahead, he could put a $200 bet on each of the underdogs in the 2 fights, and both of those might lose, but he'll still clear over about $400 profit. But if either of those underdogs upset, then he makes a bunch of money off those bets tomorrow. So that's the beauty of this knowledge. It puts people in what we call the driver's seat, where you made a small wager, and now you're just 1 game away, 2 games away from hitting the big ticket. Plus, there's now even a website online where you can sell tickets like that, and people will pay you good money for them. So...
Yeah, man. This knowledge. Anybody out there that don't think this BS or whatever, I mean, it changed my life and for the better, And I don't know. I just don't know what to say for humanity. Just not. I mean, how? Like the guy at work, he's just shaking his head today because I showed him what I hit yesterday, And he's just like, he just comes up to me and starts asking me about something. I'm like, yeah, well, look at this, And it's just like, dude, I was like, that's why I try to tell these people in there. They're just too dumb. They don't want to understand this. It's why wouldn't you? You can't do this. You cannot. I've got 3 17 parlays alive right now in that 8-teamer, and I need a couple fighters in them, and that's it. And the ones hedged because I used a different fighter in one of them. So the one bet pays like $1,800, and the other one pays $1,500. So I have both fighters covered. So one of them is going to hit, and then I just need the other guy, and I got those in. And then I rode the Dodgers and the Suns hard today because you had the last few days have been really good. So I'm like, man, he's got to cool off a little bit. But that Dodgers and that 93, you can't go against that, So, yeah, it was golden, man. The only game I missed today was that damn Braves game. That was the only one.
The Braves game. Oh, that one was tough though because the Marlins pitcher could pick up his 15th win.
Well, I know, man, and that's like I said. You get them callers, they call in, and he's like, "Oh, he just love the Braves and everything," and it just kind of like influenced me, unfortunately, to use them in some other plays. But I mean, I had a really good day, and I still have bets alive for tomorrow, with the fighters. So I mean, I'm in a really good position. But yeah, it's like I can compare it to this, right? I've never counted cards at a casino, but that's what I compare this to. Even most times even better because counting cards, if the casino knows that you're doing that, they throw you out of the casino. They're not going to let you go. They're not going to let you do that. That's what this is like.
This is counting cards, but right. It's within the rules. Right.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want to know that? I mean, I would never bet again in my entire life without not using this.
Right.
Because that's how they're doing everything, you know? And
Indeed.
yeah, I don't know.
So,
but just wanted to call in and give my gratitude and my thanks for, you know, I could see, man, you're just motivated to just shut up the haters because
I don't even need to. They're just so pathetic. But again, I'm just going to show them how pathetic they are. I mean, it's
well,
just...
I mean, the Lakers thing, man, get the fuck over it, people. I've gotten back, you know, 2.5 times already what I lost on the Lakers. You know, it's like, it's just ridiculous, man. I mean,
and again from the beginning, it doesn't look like our prediction is going to be that far off. I mean, we had the Suns as a top team. That's one of the surprise stories of the year. People didn't have the Suns as a top team this year. We thought they're going to be right there at the top. So.
No, you were all over that, man. The only thing scares me out here, I was just telling my wife a few minutes ago, I said, yeah, Arizona, man, it kind of worries me because there's always a trade back, you know, if they're in the finals or they win, you know.
Well, it's
like,
your Fires right now. It's the Fires, man. That's what it is.
Yeah, but we know it could get worse, too, right? Then they could turn the freaking lights out on us.
Look at the ESPN thing. It's funny. They got the shot with Chris Paul putting his little jumper with the ref. The ref is what you see the most with his 46 on his back as Phoenix wins the game. And again, Phoenix 46 and the most Pierce cipher, just like they stopped LeBron at 4 and 6. It's just mockery.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it is, man. It's all mockery.
Look how Jokic scored 32 tonight, man. I just love it, man. Just same numbers in the same cities. Denver 32 and the most.
And then that's the narrative too, because all these so-called experts, what do they tell you before the game? Well, yeah, you know, the Nuggets can get back in this series. They just need like a double-double or, you know, or something, a big game from Nukovic. Well, yeah, they gave him that, but the narrative is all his teammates didn't help. They didn't chip in, you know. And people just eat this garbage up, man, day after day, you know.
He didn't come out. Man. He didn't come out like the MVP, missing all of his shots, missing his free throws. He's the reason they got in a hole early and they never recovered. So that was, and that's just the mockery too. He holds the MVP trophy and then he comes out and misses a whole bunch of shots and can't make any free throws. That's not who he is. He's a high percentage shooter. It's just all part of the joke. Trae Young with 28 points, Hawks 28. So.
I mean, it's just so dumb, man. That play, I seen so little of that game. The one play I saw, I just turned it off, man, because, like, I can't watch this trash. They had him, like, run the length of the court, and nobody even touch him. Just go down and just put the ball right in there, you know, like amongst all these trees, you know. It's like, this is so retarded, people. What a joke. How do you guys not see that shit is not real? The games don't go that way, especially if you were competitive and you played anything competitive in your life. And, you know, like, how many times have you said it? Who was the dude, the public access channel, the guy that did Bert? What's his name? The one that did on the MLB? You know what I'm talking about. He did a documentary where he talked about when
Ken
Major
Burns.
League Baseball
Ken
was
Burns.
created. Yeah. When it was created for, you know, narrative, excitement. It was, none of the games were real. So you have to ask yourself the question, when did the games ever become real? Because games don't go that way. Especially with guys like this, it would be ugly, right? And like baseball, you'd have what, 1-0 games all the time, you know?
Hey, speaking of baseball, I'm just going to put this out there. The Yankees were in the World Series. Somebody's calling in with the number 3. This number that somebody's calling from Portland is tripping me out. I almost want. Oh my God! I cannot believe your number.
You want to take
no,
it?
I don't want. No, they'll call back, man. They got the trippiest number I ever saw. Did you see?
A bunch of 4s in
it. Their number got 322 in it, and some other ones, but they're calling back again. Here, let me take their call. You can call back if you want, Al, if you got more to say. But let's see what's going on. This person got the number of the century. All right, have a good night, Al. 503. 503. Oh, see, and then they just hang up. Where do you get a phone number like that? Did you guys see yesterday when I was in Yakima and this car just like pulled over across all traffic and then their license plate was UFO A51? I was like, what? It's like, now we've provoked the aliens. 503, you're calling back.
Hey, what's going on, boss? Hey, first time caller, man. I tried to get to you when you was down there at the motor center, man.
Oh, you didn't make it out there?
No, man. I couldn't find no parking down there.
Oh, I always park on Williams, but like if you always park around like Tillamook and Williams, it's only like a half-mile walk to the stadium. It's free. There's no time limit. That's where I've parked since I was a kid. I was glad to see they still haven't changed. I was like, yeah, you can still park down here. Perfect.
Nice. Hey man, yeah, that 933 number, man, it's off the chain, man. They gave me that number.
You got the number of the century. Your number is unreal.
Hey, I was calling about Tim Donahue. I think that's his name. I remember back in the day, they tried to put a damper on him, saying that because he tried to say that some of the games were fixed, meaning that he was saying that Allen Iverson kept trying to go to the hole, and they was gonna go ahead and put a lock on him as far as fouls and stuff went.
Yeah, I remember that. And I just wonder about that whole thing. I was like, did they make an example out of him to make it seem like the other refs aren't in on it? Because they're all clearly in on it. So it's like, what's this about? It's like half-truthing.
Right. I think he was trying to speak out about it, but then they put like a gag order on him and everything, and now he's not.
But the thing is, they gave him some coverage in the mainstream, whereas like Larry Johnson, who's speaking out, the mainstream hasn't really covered him at all on TV. Like some articles online here and there, but that just makes me think that the whole Tim Donaghy thing, I don't know if it was truly authentic or if it's like I said, like to make it look like there's some legitimacy and he's just, I mean, he blamed other people, but the way I think most people look at him is like, oh, he was just a bad apple and blaming other people and make it seem like, so, it's like, why isn't Larry Johnson getting the coverage in the mainstream for what he's been speaking out about?
I mean, I think that the NFL is a little bit different versus the NBA. The NBA is more of a secret society. I mean, that's why they get paid the most money on the planet as far as like per player type deal goes. I mean, in football, it's not guaranteed contracts or anything like that.
Well, there's guaranteed money. I think a lot of that secret society stuff's going on in the NFL too. Absolutely. So.
Right.
Remember,
hey man, but you're doing great shit, man. I appreciate everything that you do. I'm gonna definitely go ahead and subscribe to your Patreon coming up, and keep up the great work, man.
All right, will do. Have a good night. Yeah, it's too bad that Big Al got took in by some of the callers today. People wanted to call in and get on signs at games that I thought were dangerous, and that's too bad. But yeah, sometimes I wonder about my callers, man. Sometimes I wonder if some of them are just agents just trying to pump bad info because some call in a lot. Anyway, what's up, 702?
Oh, Zach.
Yeah, what's up?
All right, first time caller. No, I know you don't talk about NASCAR that much, but could you just look at two drivers for me real quick?
Well, I can already tell you this. If I only look at two drivers in the race, I don't have enough information. I got to look at all the drivers in the race. But what is it?
Or Blanky. Birthday is 201 days. So,
you're breaking up, but I heard like NASCAR R blank.
His birthday is 201 days from Sunday's race.
Your phone is cutting in and out.
Hear me now?
What's the NASCAR driver's name? I just need his name.
R. Blaney.
R. Blaney?
Laney.
Yeah, it keeps breaking in and out. Blaney. Let's see. Blaney. Ryan Blaney. Okay, Ryan Blaney. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, his birthday is December 31st. The race is the race tomorrow, June 12th?
13th, Sunday the 13th.
Oh, yeah, that's the day leaving 201 days left in the year. That's the day leaving 201 days left in the year. Yeah, I'd have to look at it more. Somebody might have a better ritual than that, because, I mean, it is the day leaving 201 days left in the year, but yeah, I see what you mean from his birthday, so... Yeah, I'd have to look. I haven't done the homework on NASCAR, but the 201 has been pumping in sports, but is that the top hurdle? I'd have to look at the race, so... What is the name of the race?
Okay, all right.
What is the name of the race?
All-Star. What is that? All-Star. Hold on.
NASCAR All-Star Race.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go through all the drivers and just see. I look at the history of what number wins at this event, that type of thing. But Yeah, I need more information.
Okay,
So.
I was just wondering because it's like a couple of drivers with the 201 in their whole name also, and I was just trying to narrow it down.
Yeah, I'd watch out for that on the day leaving 201 days left in the year. That could be a sign.
Yeah, it's like two of them, man, and one of them got good odds.
Yeah. So. All
And
right.
Did you go by the car number also?
Remember, so like for example,
McDowell.
here, just to remind you what happened last year. Last year, NASCAR took the break for coronavirus, and they came back on May 21st, and that was the 142nd day of the leap year, and coronavirus is 142, like how the NBA season was suspended on the 142nd day of the season, then it resumed 142 days later. But the date was May 21st, 521. 521 is the 98th prime, and the 98 car won, and the guy who drives the 98 car, his name in Gematria equals 98. So did the name of the track where that race was. It was also 98. So yeah, 521, 98th prime, 98 car won that race. And just days before that race, it was reported that like his child, I can't remember if it was an infant child or if his wife was pregnant with the child, but he just lost a child days before that, which was suspicious. Then he won the race. So, yeah, the car numbers can definitely matter.
Yeah, okay. Because 34 does that correlate to the 201 day?
I don't know where 34 would fit in with 201, honestly. So.
Oh, okay. And this is McDowell, M. McDowell. He drives the car 34, but he was born in 84.
You know what, man? There are people who are decoding NASCAR. So look around in the Gematria community. And again, what you want to do is you want to look at all the drivers in the race. But how, again, the way I started decoding golf tournaments and stuff, you have these bigger fields, is I was just looking at historically. I'd go back and say, like, oh, that number seems to play a lot. So then I'd start looking at the more modern era, and I'd say, oh, okay, that number fits in here. And again, it's just doing the same thing with NASCAR. It's taking the time to decode the past, learn about what the patterns are that trend with the past, and then apply that to. But it takes work. I mean, you got to put in the time. So. Anyway.
Yeah, I've been putting it in all week. I'm just trying to figure out how to narrow it down.
Yeah, but definitely pay attention to the card number. So that's what I mean. You said like there's two guys with a 201 thing. Does one of them have the right name, Gematria? And look up what their full name is too. Like sometimes they have a middle name. Sometimes that's helpful. I'm pretty sure the guy who drives the 98 car, it's his full name, including his middle name that's 98. And yeah, so car number, name, the birthday, distance, and usually who has the better riddle is who comes out on top. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right. Yeah. Take care, man.
All right.
See you. Yeah, that's the nice thing about this knowledge. Like Dr. Savage 84, who put the super chat in the Kwame Brown live stream to get him to talk about Gematria. He took this knowledge and with his own mind, like won on 3 straight NASCAR events. So, what's going on?
Thanks for taking my call. I just put a link in there in the chat to a blog, and I would like to know if you know who this person is. His blog is called Lift the Veil from Your Eyes, and he's been putting out information since 2016. The way I found him was someone made a comment about Ishtar 322. So in trying to find out how 322 related to Ishtar, I found his thing, which specifically talks about this person, the Esty family, that's a bloodline. And sure enough, I checked it out, and Elizabeth Etsy was like the congresswoman in charge of the whole Newtown, Connecticut during that time. And her husband is also big into the climate change and taxing us carbon credits. So do you know who that person is?
The Lift the Veil from Your Eyes? I'm actually not sure whose website this is. Looks like they've been doing it for a while, though.
Yeah, 2016, and he's got great research on there.
Okay. Yeah.
If you have time, read about the section on Sadist of Ishtar. That's where it gets into the Esty family.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
All right, have a good night. Okay. Australia, what's going on?
Hey mate, how you going?
Doing well. How are you? Oh, he hung up already. Okay. Well, anyway, it was another good day. And hold on, we'll try Australia one more time, and I think we're going to wrap it up here in a minute. Australia?
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I think it just cut out again. I gave a call to you about 2-3 months ago, probably more now, about 6 months ago. I was from Melbourne, Australia, going through lockdowns back and forth. And I've just been watching the Football European Championships and the Champions League last week or so. And I don't know if you cover the soccer too much. I might have missed it. But I think it was a pretty clear Mercury ritual, Gemini ritual, the final. Both the coach's name was Thomas, and the gentleman who scored, set up the assist in the game name was Mason. And obviously, Thomas and Mason both mean twin, and it happened during Gemini. There was quite a few other things that lined up. The player who scored was number 29 on the 29th day of the year. Number 19 assisted him. The 29th prime number is 109. Obviously, dropped a 0. And I watched the game, and soccer's probably the last innocent thing I was trying to half hold on to, and watched it drip away right in front of me. I was just wondering if you had anyone else who has been having interest in the Euros or something as well, because I think they're starting to stand out, even in world football.
Oh, absolutely. There's a gentleman who's a former boxer, and now he does Gematria full time, and he's figured out the master equations for all the European football, and that's what he does for his living now. And yeah, there's all sorts of people. Because again, you guys, I've been teaching this knowledge nonstop since 2014. I know to a lot of you it's new, but for a lot of people, they've been working with this for
I've
years.
been on you. I've been following you for about 2-3 years intermittently, and I think the only reason I stop every now and then is I was just trying to, I don't know, keep some sort of naive innocence. But then once Corona cranked up at the start of last year, I couldn't ignore things anymore, and it was just getting out of hand. And sorry, do you mind me asking who's the gentleman who's actually got the page?
Say it again.
Do you mind me asking who's the gentleman that's actually got the page for the football?
Oh, well, he's not like doing a Patreon. I mean, he's just constantly, in contact and showing his slips. And I mean, he just, does, this is what he does for his living now. He decodes the games and bets each day.
Ah, okay. So he's in contact with you, you're saying?
Right. He's just someone who's learned about it and been a follower of the work for a long time and now applies it, and that's how he makes his living. So yeah, there's a lot of people that have been applying this to European football. So
okay,
it's all the same. I mean,
okay,
this thing
great.
is universal. This code is
Cool.
worldwide. This is it.
I was hoping, and I know this is always going to be naive, and I listened to a couple of Rambo's decodes when he was involving Leicester City and the helicopter accidents and those things. Just the actual reach is unbelievable. It's phenomenal how deep, how well planned it has to be. Because the same way that the Americans who follow your American sports, I follow European football. Australia's a pretty multicultural country, and just seeing how they can map it out over countries, not just in one country, is amazing. But we're just seeing something we constantly keep seeing now. It's just harder to believe. It's just not always sinking in.
Indeed. Well, keep up
Thank
the
you,
good work, and
Thank you
if
for
you're
the
not
work.
aware, the website statmuse.com. I imagine it has the European football stats there. This website is awesome for looking up stats.
Okay. If you do get the chance to have a look at the Champions League finals that was on the 29th, you'll probably find it amusing because they didn't even bother hiding it. A gentleman got knocked out in the 56th minute by a player that was wearing a mask. It was laughable. It was laughable. He got a broken eye socket and a cheekbone from running into a gentleman, the one player on the ground that had a facial protection mask, and it was in the 56th minute. It is what it is.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing. The 56th minute.
Yeah.
Go figure. All right.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you, mate.
All right, you have a good night. Take care. Oh, I tried to switch over to 682, but it hung up. Yeah, this website StatMuse though is awesome. What is the Atlanta Hawks record since March 1st, 2021? That's when they got their new coach. Hold on, I screwed up something. Caller?
Yo, Zach, it's Lane with a Y, Generation Y, 585.
How you doing, man?
It's 3 o'clock in the Rocks, man. I'm out here trying to get this money, man. We studying hard, man.
You do well today?
We parlayed it up. Today. We got a little crazy, man. It's just, with this information, you get a little cocky, you get a little crazy. The Atlanta Braves, man. I took that L today.
I knew that game was dangerous, man. That other pitcher had the 15th win, the most pure cipher, man. You got to watch out for that most pure cipher.
The most pure cipher. You're fucking right.
Yeah.
But we always bet down Philly. Embiid is the man right now. So we took Philly. So, we still here making it. But
you must have. You had to have taken the Suns today, right? You took the Suns.
No, I didn't take.
What? Oh my goodness.
No, I did not take the Suns today.
Well, how could you not take the Suns? They had the value and everything.
Yeah, and I'm just starting to see more with Devin Booker, man. They got this boy all over the place, man. They're like, oh my God, he has LeBron's last 23 jersey. They're just going crazy.
Again, exactly. And look at how they did that. Booker 96, LeBron 96, Lakers 96, 9-6. I mean, I am sad to hear you did not take the Suns tonight, man. That was the free money. So.
Yeah, free money, man. It's just crazy value. Like how these favorites and these lines are so short during the playoffs. I'm seeing the money, but we gotta get you to look at least one UFC fight, man. This guy Israel Adesanya, man, he's fighting them all, man. Can you just take a look at the fight for me real quick, man?
You got to learn to decode it. It's not hard with the UFC. They just giving it to you.
Well, what I will let you know right now is this guy is 20-1, and tomorrow leaves 202 days left in the year. So, why would I bet against the champion?
Okay, maybe I'll look more at that. That sounds pretty interesting. So, remember, it's UFC 263, the 56th prime, and where did they just move it to? Arizona, where the Phoenix Suns are, the only true 56 team. Again, this UFC is no doubt synced up with the basketball, so they're doing something there. So there's a big clue.
Okay.
It's all rigged together, man. It's all rigged together. You should not have doubted the Suns today. Come on, man.
Yeah, I know, man. I know that for sure.
You should have made some big money today, man. We killed. How many baseball games did we kill today? We slaughtered almost the whole day of games.
Yeah, we've been smashing baseball, man. But I get caught up in the money, and the plus money, and the run lines, and all that.
Then how did you go against Suns? Suns were the underdog today. They had value and everything.
Yeah, I for sure regret the Suns. That was just a wrong pick, but some of the other ones was definitely strategical plays that were just.
All right, you'll get it back. You'll get it back, man. Yeah.
We'll get it back, man. But I'm looking at the UFC, man. If you got any information for us, just let us know, man. And I wanted to talk to a guy who was just on the line because when we deal with these sports where it's just single persons, how important is their surname, first name versus last name, and like their full name, it's just about the importance of certain numbers. So just some information that I want to learn a little bit more as far as UFC.
Alrighty. All right, man. Well, keep up with the good work.
You can help us out.
Yeah. All right. You have a good night. Take care. 682.
Yo, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Hey, what's up? My name's Eli, bro, and I called today. Honestly, bro, I've been watching your shit for a minute. Excuse my language. I'm not sure if I should be doing that.
That's fine. You can talk however you want to talk.
I appreciate it, bro. But I want to come on here and say, like, a lot of people that I do know are not believers in it. And it's cool. I don't want them to wait. I'm just, like, listen to anything I say and just jump on it. But I was trying to find a way to show the similarities. Like, I was trying to bring up, especially what just happened with the Lakers, that 14 streak, because I'm a Panthers fan since I was little.
As soon as you brung it up, I was like, damn, that's what happened to the Panthers. And it's just hard for me to try to get it, like, relay it to people and try to get them to see it. It's like people just want to stay closed-minded to this information.
Right, and that's the frustration, man. And that's people just do not want to know the truth. They don't want knowledge. They just want to go along with the flow and be entertained. And that's 90% of humanity. So I guess kind of the silver lining is when you find somebody who gets it, then you know you found a real one. But yeah, we all run into the same thing. And like Big Al routinely says, he said it's a good thing that's that way, because if everybody caught on like they should, they'd have to switch up their system. And how am I going to be making more money off this than my day job if everybody's doing this? So.
Right. And also, man, I want to say as well, how do I get into the betting? Because I subscribe to your Patreon and all that, but I don't understand what sites I should use for it to do all that good stuff and all that.
Well, there's several websites. BetUS is one. There's several websites, but look into make sure it's legal in your state, because you don't want to get yourself in legal trouble. And again, there's Bovada, there's BetUS, there's sites that are legitimate. You know what the danger with this, I've only seen it happen one time where we got screwed over. There was a popular online gambling website last year that at the beginning of the NBA playoffs announced that they were not going to be paying out on any of their NBA futures. And there were a ton of people in our community that used that website that had their futures on the Lakers since way before they got Anthony Davis, because we knew the Lakers were going to win it in LeBron's 17th season. But all those people got screwed over by that website that were on there because it didn't pay out on their future. So, I mean, but people have been doing this for years, and that's the only thing I can really point to. But, I mean, that's just the one risk about betting online. Those people got their money back. It's not that they lost their money. It's just that they didn't get paid out what they should have got paid because they had the right bet in on the Lakers. So... And I imagine that website, there's probably a lot of futures on the Lakers, especially after Anthony Davis signed, and they just didn't want to pay out. So it's always better to bet in a casino is what I'm saying if you can in your state. If your state has casino and you can bet there, that's the best place to bet, because they have to pay out on the slips if you have your betting slip.
All right, bet. And also, this is my last question, and I understand this is all evil. Like, they doing it for some evil reasoning, right? But at the same time, I feel as if, like, some people don't die, like, actually are dying. I feel like they, like, cause it just doesn't make sense for some of these people to die.
Like Kobe Bryant.
And yeah.
So Kobe Bryant's a perfect example to explain Gematria to, because Kobe Bryant equals 41 in the most pure cipher. He dies at 41. It's 157 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse. He dies on his 157th day of his age. Kobe Bryant's 113 with the alphabetic order. People can look it up on his 113th day of his age. 44 days before the crash, he was in the news for helping out with a car accident in Los Angeles. Of course, Michael Jordan's also 113, the National Basketball Association. Utah Jazz, the only 113 team we played his last game against. Deer Basketball, his retirement poems, 113. But then the 58 as well. Kobe Bryant's 58, just like Los Angeles Lakers. And again, just the whole King James riddle. The real King James died at age 58. Kobe fell to fourth in scoring one day after LeBron passed Kobe in points scored in Philly, Kobe's hometown, which is named in the Bible like there's the King James Bible, and Biblical's 58. And the numerology of 58 is 4. 4 is associated with death. Kobe fell to fourth in scoring after LeBron passed him the day before. So just through the gematria of Kobe Bryant, I mean, you can explain that about each cipher. And if people think that's all a coincidence... Oh, and that's the other thing. They played the All-Star game right after his death in tribute to him, and it was the first team to score 157 points. It's like, how did they pick that? So, and then you can also point out that Bryant equals 26 and 37. He's dead on the 26th on the 37-year anniversary of Bear Bryant. And 157 is the 37th prime. I mean, it all goes together. Staples Center, where they plays 157. Los Angeles is 37. The Grammys were in Los Angeles at the Staples Center the day Kobe died. Beyonce, what'd she get? Beyonce got like her 24th Grammy the day that Kobe died. It's like, come on, man. And that Boogaloo music video with her and Destiny's Child back in the day came out on Kobe's birthday, and he's in the music video. And I gotta look it up. There's even more to it. So.
And that's the thing, though, like, cause I want to be great one day, and I want my name to be known, but I want to be able to do this legit, and I'm scared that, like, cause I know I'm an influential person that's in normal status, And I feel like what they like, you know what I mean? Like they find people who are influential, and they're like, if you don't sell your soul, you die, or you know what I mean? Some dumb stuff is gonna happen where you can't do what you want to actually do, and it's scary, man. Like all this stuff going on, especially now, is like all of a sudden, because I've been looking into this since I was younger. I'm only 20 years old, and to be 20 years old and be faced with all this truth, you know what I mean? Because I've never looked at any of this stuff and been like, nah, this dude's lying. Like, as soon as I seen it, I was like, damn, this shit makes so much sense. And it's kind of scary in the sense because people are so blinded to it. And they worship these people like gods. And, like, you can't tell them nothing.
That's what you realize, man. You realize that that's what it is. I mean, that's got to be what it is ultimately on some level. There's something that all of us have in common that like have the ability to see it that the rest of humanity does not. There's something I think that's like we have a better quality inside of us, like a greater honesty or a greater courage, or maybe somewhere along the way, like we suffered some trauma, but then we also did something good in the world, so we get something back. But there's something we have that most people don't. And again, just about the Kobe thing, if you read my book, there's so many 157s with Kobe, but I'm just going back. This song Bugaboo, it came out on the Destiny's Child album. Again, Kobe's in the music video for this. It came out on his birthday, the music video. But Kobe's connected to this song. This album is called The Writings on the Wall, like in regards to, what's coming in the future. And that album came out on July 27th, the day leaving 157 days left in the year. And he goes on to die 157 days after his birthday. Plus the song Bugaboo equals 126. He died on January 26th, 126. Destiny's Child 74. He dies in the 74th NBA season. Again, it's just like, and that's the thing too. He died 54 days after Jay-Z's birthday, who's now with Beyonce, and Kobe Bean Bryant's 54, dead 1 week before Super Bowl 54, where they did the big Kobe ritual in the Super Bowl. Again, Mahomes' 26th completion was to number 26 to put the game away on the 41st pass. Kobe Bryant 41, Bryant 26. I mean, stuff is just it's ritual clear as day, and people just don't want to get it. That's the problem. So.
Hey, man, but thank you, and keep up the good work, bro, because I'm going to stick with you, bro. Even if you come wrong, I ain't really tripping, bro, because I know that you actually care about it. You ain't just putting out, you can't just put out bullshit, you know what I mean? It equals up. It's showing you what it's going to be. So you keep doing what you're doing, bro, and you keep on finding truth seekers, bro, because I'm going to be right behind you. Whenever I blow up, I'm going to let you know who I am, bro.
All right.
I have to meet you in person.
I appreciate that. Keep working hard at your goal, man. You'll get there. You have a good night.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Okay. All right. It's getting late. 586.
Oh, hey, Zach.
Hey, what's up?
So, I was that guy that was going to make that Gematria video, and I was going to ask you, do you remember when Trump was asked if he was going to delay the 2020 election? And then he was like, no, it's a good number.
It's a good number. I do remember that. Yep.
Do you know where I could find that clip? Because I want to put that in my video.
Well, we'd have to, if we can narrow down what day he made the remark, we can probably find, scan, the nightly news footage from that day, and might have the clip of Trump saying it, because that was one of the top headlines that day when Trump was asked that question. So go back and see the day, and then go on NBC's website and type in June or whatever day he said that nightly news broadcast. And then you could just skim along through it and see if they get to a section with Trump. That's how I go back and find things when I need to. So that would be my methodology.
Yeah, I'm just making a video to just show people. And my uncle was actually at the Capitol on January 6th.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Yeah, I'm trying to I actually used to be a Trump supporter. And then when I found Gematria, I just learned that he's in on it too.
Yeah.
And I want to wake them up, but I don't know. I don't think he's gonna. But anyways, I'm gonna try to look for that clip.
All right, man. Well, keep up the good work. Appreciate your call.
Yep.
All right, have a good night. Okay. Okay, I turned off the phone. I'm not going to take any more calls, but I feel like I need to say something because there's somebody who called in who I find to be a really annoying person. And I imagine that person is still here. So, that person, if you're out there listening, and I'm sure you know exactly who I'm talking about, I don't like how you're always leaving these little chippy comments and saying like, "Oh, Zach ignores me because I called him out for this." No, that's not why. Think about the real perspective of why. And here, I don't think most people know who this person is, but you know, they're a older woman who said that her husband wanted to come out here for a hunting trip and he wanted to spend a week hunting, and she said it was close by where I live in the state of Washington. So she wanted to know if she could stay at my house for a week while that was going on. And she said she'd help me get caught up on, whatever I need to get organized around here. And I said, well, that's a really nice offer and I appreciate that, but sweet lady probably wouldn't like it if we had a person we don't really know stay at our house for a whole week. And I think that's the real reason that person got annoyed. Because them calling me out for the thing that I apologize for, I mean, who cares? Who cares if you're calling me out for something I already apologized for? And what the thing they say that they're calling me out for is for not going to D.C. last September. I still feel bad about that. I mean, that was the plan, but Sweet Lady had at the time it was time to leave, Sweet Lady had a breakdown, and I just couldn't leave with Sweet Lady broken down. And she has a reason to be afraid. I mean, we've been through a bunch of crap in the time we've been doing this. So, it'd be easier to do some things with this work if I was single. But, she let me go to Seattle this Sunday. I'll be in Seattle again. And even though we missed the D.C. trip, we still drove out to Gonzaga, the Jesuit campus, and did something similar for that same weekend. So, we made lemonade out of lemons. But yeah, I don't appreciate that person always talking shit in the chat and then acting like I'm ignoring them because they called me out. No, I'm ignoring you because I see what I think really happened. You got offended that I said, no, you can't stay at my house for a week. And then you got all shitty. And honestly, man, I love women, but again, and I guess I should just zip my mouth, but again, it's just women stuff, man. It's like, I got one sweet lady, I got one crazy mom, and one crazy sister. I mean, that's enough women in my life. So anyway, people. Oh, and by the way, another great thing for us in sports today, since this was a sports stream, Djokovic won, and I talked about it at the beginning of the year. Again, Djokovic, he's the 53 guy. He started the year by winning the Australian Open. Or, I didn't mean to write out that. I meant to write out his name. Novak Djokovic, in the most pure cipher 53, wins the 53rd Australian Open. And then this French Open, again, Federer and Nadal are at 20 Grand Slams won. Nadal came into this year with 17-1. When he won the Australian, that was his 18th. If he wins the next three, which is right now the French Open, and then you have the Wimbledon, and then you have the U.S. Open, if he won all of the events this year, he'd get to 21, and he'd pass Nadal and Federer. And we said this is the one where he can really set that narrative. If he beats Nadal in the French Open where Nadal dominates it, I bet you Nadal ends up getting his 14th eventually. It's obviously not going to be this year because Djokovic beat him. But notice Nadal is 14. He needs one more at the French Open to get his 14th. The word end is 14. A lot of things end at 14. So I'll do some research on when it's right for him. But this year, the reason we were believing at the start of this tournament why Djokovic really could get past Nadal this year is because this tournament began 8 days after Djokovic's birthday, and 8 is the 19th prime number. 8 is the 19th prime. Djokovic, if he wins this Grand Slam tournament, he'll get his 19th Grand Slam, you see? And then he could tie Federer and Nadal at Wimbledon, 20, and then I believe the U.S. Open's the last one of the year, unless I flipped it around. But if he wins all four, again, he gets to 21, and passes Federer and Nadal. And it's the year, this is the 53rd year where, the Grand Slams begin with the Australian Open. And that's Djokovic's number that's been good and consistent with him. When he beat Federer the other year in Wimbledon, it was 53 days after his birthday. Just a number that shows up a lot with his career, Djokovic. Again, you learn this knowledge, you see how the whole world of sports is scripted. And again, English is the language of the world. That's why I don't get why so many people get hung up on that. But this is just English. Just English? You mean the language that's taught everywhere in the world? Sweet lady from a Burmese jungle, they teach English in the Burmese jungle. teach English all over the place. And again, the whole calendar, the whole English, it all happened at the end of the 16th century. It is obvious, this code worldwide used. People using it worldwide every day to decode news, sports. And again, a lot of people in the world that are self-sufficient who learn from me, because I've taught it to a lot of people over and over redundantly, they now apply it themselves and produce the real results. So you have to realize the crowd of people who make fun and wait for something to be wrong and then think they're proven right, that this is all nonsense, even though we hit the last 10 things, now we got one thing wrong, so now they're finally proven right. Again, the only people thinking like this are the dumbest of the dumbest people. Anyone with an ounce of intelligence, real intelligence, true intelligence, not that they went to school and studied real hard and specialized in something and now have a good career. That's not real intelligence. That's like a machine. They became part of the machine. Real intelligence, the ability to think independently, critically. Anybody with real intelligence knows that this work is 100% truth. You can use it every day to see through all the crap. And again, it goes beyond just sports. It's like, look at the stuff that's in the news right now. You know, myocarditis, a heart condition, an enlarged heart being caused in some children who received the vaccine. And they put out this news. All this news broke on June 10th about the myocarditis on June 10th, the 161st day of the year, when myocarditis is 161. Again, just like I show, from sports to news, every last thing about this whole pandemic, it's all by the numbers every single day. Every detail that rolls out, no exceptions. You can prove it every single day. Every single headline. You know, the first cruise ship to launch since the pandemic was declared. They have 2 passengers with COVID on a ship that launched on June 5th, 5-6, right? Remember, that date's written 5-6. Last year, Black Lives Matter was painted on the streets of Washington, D.C. Again, just to remind you about 56. Black Lives Matter, 56. Washington, D.C., 56. It's the land of the Jesuits, the Society of Jesus, 56, coronavirus, 56, Anthony Fauci, 56, Jesuit educated, and the list just goes on. But all these 56s, Ronald Reagan's a 56. He died on that day in history, June 5th. But anyway, you know, just the first boat to launch since the pandemic, and then it has coronavirus cases, right? It launches on 5-6. Again, same number patterns. Talk about how 56 is the number of the pandemic over and over, a million different ways to see it. And they just continue to do the exact same things. So, sports to news. 56-game hockey season this year. NBA bubble 56 rituals last year. Remember, Rudy Gobert and the Jazz improved to 5-6 in the bubble after the season resumed last year. 5-6, 56 days after Rudy Gobert's birthday. And again, the guy blamed for the pandemic. And remember, the NBA locked down the season on March 11th, 11/3, over the coronavirus pandemic. Coronavirus pandemic is 113. The only team in the league with a full name that's 113 is Utah Jazz, who it was blamed on. The only other team with a 113 connection is Dallas, who scored 113 points the day the pandemic was declared March 11th. This year they opened the NFL season September 9th, the day leaving 113 days left in the year. And what was I saying before that? Oh, yeah, just the pandemic being declared on March 11th. If you write out coronavirus pandemic, it's 113, right? And this is the number of deception. I forget exactly what chapter it's in, but in my first book, I go through the 113 deception list, teaching about the meaning of 113 in light of the Talmud and Bava Kama 113a. But, and in the book, I argue that Bill and Melinda Gates married January 1st, 94 for several reasons. Seemed like a puppet marriage that was truly a ritual, counting down to the planned pandemic. And knows how they get divorced in the time of the pandemic. By the numbers. It's just, while Melinda's 56 and Bill's 65, when coronavirus is 56 and pandemic 65. Remember, the Event 201 coronavirus pandemic simulation was on the 65th day of Melinda Gates's age, and 65 million people die from coronavirus in the simulation. Plus a whole lot more. But yeah, from sports to news, see through it all. Call the election before it happens, call the games before it happens, call the news before it happens, and then somehow be a caller on my show, call in and say, what can you do with Gematria? I've been following for a long time, but I'm not quite clear on how it's helpful. It's like, okay, if you've been following some time and you're not clear on how it's helpful, you're in the wrong place, man. You're part of that 90%. I don't know how you got here. Part of the brain dead masses. And yeah, it should be all kinds of helpful, So stock market, crypto, we've been calling it all before it happens, man. If I just wanted to focus full time on the stock market, I could give presentations on the stock market every day. Again, take the knowledge that I'm teaching, apply it, use your own mind. Stuff's not rocket science. I show how to do it every day. And yeah. Again, you have the tool. Can you use it? So that is the question. And I don't know how something keeps happening. That is so weird. But anyway, we'll leave it there, you guys. It is late. I'm up past my bedtime. And appreciate everyone who tuned in. Appreciate everyone who gave a like. And we'll leave it there.